talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines. Coming up to 1 minute past 10, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Mo Salah will be spoken to this morning over his future at Liverpool. Arne Slot says he has no reason to not want Salah to stay.
The next time I speak about Mo should be with him and not in here. But yeah, you can keep on trying, but there's not much more to say about it.
Salah had suggested Brighton's visit to Anfield tomorrow could be his last game for Liverpool. Unai Emery is very pleased with how his Villa squad's responding to rotation. 8 changes were made for the win at Basel. That keeps Villa top of the Europa League table. Meanwhile, Sean Dyche needs to balance Thursday night success with steering clear of the Premier League's bottom 3.
There's history on the Europe side of things. To get back in there was a massive step for the club. To now be pushing in Europe is the next step. We're trying to do that, but we've got to safeguard both.
Now, we're told England fans will have to dip into life savings to go to the World Cup final. The cheapest ticket for that's over $3,000.
That's not accessible to all the travel club members, so those who don't have enough points will have to pay more for the more expensive tickets, which you could be looking up to £7,000-8,000, maybe even beyond.
Nick Jones from the England Supporters Travel Club told us nearly everyone in his WhatsApp groups decided not to go. Now, if Snoop Dogg can bring a little love and motivation to the US Olympic team, that's a win for him. Snoop's going to be an honorary coach at LA 2028. And Luke Little is very happy to win what he's called the hardest game of the PDC World Darts, avoiding defeat to Darius Labanauskas in the first round. He had to duck the Ali Pali Wasp as well. Rob Cross and Jan van Veen are up today. Every dart is live on the talkSPORT app.
talkSPORT News.
England's resident doctors are urged to call off next week's strike, and concern over the budget's being seen as one of the reasons why the economy shrunk in October. Emma has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, where we've got more premium tyres than the number of times you'll hear, "Ooh, it's a bit nippy this winter." Book today at quickfit.com.
Rain hanging around in the southeast, where it's milder. Elsewhere, more settled but colder with sunny spells. The northwest sees blustery showers.
Hello, very good morning to you. It is Friday and you're listening to Matterface, Alex Crook and former Premier League manager Neil Warnock, and we're live on talkSPORT through to 1 o'clock this afternoon. So Wilfred Nancy, just 8 days into his reign as Celtic manager, has suffered a second loss in his second game in charge. Defeat to Hearts, defeat to Roma, and a potential loss in this weekend's cup final to St Mirren. Could we see fans turning on a new gaffer in record quick time? Meanwhile, tickets to FIFA's Showpiece World Cup have been revealed to be as much as 7 times more expensive than the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Is this a FIFA problem or a football one? Are tourists simply more valuable than the real proper fans? Also today, 9 years since their last Premier League showdown, is Sunday's Time Weird Derby the closest one to call in a very long time. Plus, we'll get Neil's memories of the Battle of Bramall Lane with West Brom and Sheffield United facing off tonight. And, of course, that's live on talkSPORT. It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Neil Warnock, and we're live through till 1. Yes, very good morning to you. It's Funboy Friday, and it's Sam Matterface, the Crookmeister, and a man who has the unenviable task of stepping into the shoes of Troy Deeney and Gabby Agbonlahor. But the good news is stepping in is something that he does quite well. Stepping in and saving a sinking ship, actually, is what he does quite well. Neil Warnock is here. You all right?
Yeah, but usually only from February onwards. It's a bit early for me, December.
You've gone a bit early. Yeah. I was going to describe you as a former manager, but frankly, I don't think any of us would be surprised if by 1 o'clock you were back in employment. So you never know. 77 last week. What did Sharon get you?
Well, all sorts of things, but which I won't go into. But it was. It was. I mean, really, you just don't think about your age. I know it sounds silly, but I think you're as old as you feel, really. And I still, I think because I've got young kids as well. William keeps me when I go watching him golfing and things like that. It just keeps you happy, doesn't it? It keeps you going. And when I look at you lot, up here, and I realise when they asked me, they needed some quality, like Simon Jordan's not on. So I knew they needed that little bit of quality. And
experience.
A little bit of class,
Yeah.
So I said I'd come.
But when they couldn't get that, they bought
yeah, not bad that. So.
Right, let's talk a little bit about Celtic because they brought somebody in to try and help them along, but it hasn't worked so far. They lost last night in the Europa League to Roma, and they lost quite badly. I wonder what the Celtic fans are feeling this morning. 0371 722 3344. Evan Ferguson, back-to-back first-half goals, condemning Wilfried Nancy to a second straight defeat. The League Cup final on Sunday is absolutely huge against St Mirren. He's facing the prospect of a disastrous start. It was a really poor performance last night. Roma won at a canter. 2 games in, not enough to judge a manager, Neil, but first impressions certainly do count. And Sunday is now incredibly important, isn't it, for Wilfried Nancy, because he's operating in an unforgiving environment.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's difficult. It is difficult up there. There's so many headlights flood, right onto you as soon as you take over. But I don't suppose it helped him that Martin did a really good job. I think when you read some of the players' reports, they love Martin because, I think when you're an old, when you're getting on a little bit like us, you sort of concentrate on getting the love, putting your arm around players and telling them what they're good at, not what they're not good at, and don't bamboozle them with tactics. And I think, to come in and change formations after they'd won 7 out of 8 games, I just felt it was like, I'm going to change, I'm going to show them what I'm doing. And then when they told me you wear green trainers, I laughed my head off. I did, honestly, because you just don't do that up there. Somebody should have pulled him, shouldn't they, really? You don't do that in Scotland when you're in Rangers.
What was your feeling on it?
Similar to Neil's, really. It feels to me, as you say, 2 games very early to judge a manager, but he's managed to undo all the good work that Martin O'Neill did in that interim basis. It was an odd decision to change formation for a huge game against Hearts at the weekend. If Celtic had managed to win that game, then the title race would take on a very different complexion. You've got to say Hearts in the box seat now. There's no disgrace in losing at home to Roma. You would expect Celtic probably to lose to Roma, but it's the manner of the defeat. And when Evan Ferguson comes out in his post-match interview and says, well, it was quite easy, really, because the Celtic players didn't seem to know what they were doing, that's a pretty damning reflection on the new manager.
Yeah, some of the post-match comments caused a bit of a stir last night, didn't they? Especially the ones from the Celtic boss himself. No Celtic boss has ever lost their opening 2 matches. Well, not until now anyway. But Wilfried Nancy says he's not concerned.
Last game we did a good first half. The second game, this game tonight was a bit better. I mean, in terms of what we want to do during the second half. So the idea is exactly to try to get a complete performance. But I believe, and my players believe, that we're going to be able to do it. This is obviously a difficult moment, but I saw also good things.
3 centre-backs, all left-footed. Midfield not quite, solid enough or compact enough to be able to deal with what was coming at them. And then when he comes out and makes comments like that, you can very quickly lose people, can't you?
Yeah.
Because you can't lie to people. They can see it.
I know. And it is up there, like I said, the spotlight on Rangers and Celtic's unbelievable. The press coverage and everything. And you can't be flippant. He was almost flippant. He was almost, I'll do it my way, and I'm not bothered about this. Well, you've got to care. You've got to. I just thought, like Ferguson said, they didn't look as though they knew what they were doing, did they? And it's horrible to say that from when you've been a manager, because I think we've all been in that situation. But why change something? Change something?
Is it another example of a manager being too wedded to a system or an approach? And we've seen that before, especially recently.
Amarim was like
just
that,
down the road.
When he come in, Amarim was like that.
Well, he still is.
I know. And he's going to play 3 centre-halves, and he hadn't got 3 centre-halves at Old Trafford. So I just don't understand how they can't be a bit more, versatile, really.
Joe Hart was brilliant last night, by the way, in the post-match. He sort of stood there and he said, look, when I first came to Celtic, I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I don't know what it's like to be brought up in this environment. So I rang Stan Petrov and found out about it. I got the information because I wanted to know what it was like to be a Celtic player, what it meant to be a Celtic player. And he said, someone needs to get in this guy's ear and tell him it's not just about enjoying your football. It's about winning football matches on a regular basis. There's a pressure there that not every club has, but that one certainly does.
Yeah, every defeat that Celtic suffer, and Rangers to a lesser extent now, sadly for them, is a crisis, isn't it? It's back page news, and losing at home to Hearts in your first game, your nearest challengers for the title, is the worst possible start, really. But Neil's right about the systems and the point you raised. Too many modern managers, I think, are obsessed by philosophy. Now, call me old-fashioned. As a football fan, it's all about results, isn't it? It's about getting the win. It still doesn't matter to me how my team win, as long as they win. I think a lot of coaches have forgotten
when
that.
Erik ten Hag was in charge of Manchester United, you did want him to have some sort of style of play, and you couldn't see one.
No, you couldn't. But he didn't have a tactics board, did he, Ten Hag? I think that's where he made his mistake. You know, they've all got tactic boards now, haven't they? And you've got them playing with Subbutios now and things, haven't you? You know, during the game. I cannot understand that at all. Honestly.
And if you're a player and you're sceptical of a new manager anyway, you're going to use that as a stick to beat him with, aren't you?
If you're a sub and you sat behind him and he's on his ball, whatever he's on, I can't. The dressing room, I could imagine. There's quite a lot of talk going on in the dressing room.
His changes were interesting last night as well. Half time, he takes off Kieran Tierney, he takes off Maida, he takes off Nygren, and three of their better players. I would suggest. I'm not sure that's going to win him any favours with the fans.
You need your Tierney on board when you go to a club like that. Yeah. The dressing room is so important. You've got to get the ones that you can rely on board, and it's all about man management. And at the moment, when I look at the appointments that they've got, it's not about man management. It's all about what they've done and the data and where. But it's a different league over here, and they're coming over here. And I mean, when I was up at Aberdeen, I went to Rangers. He was arrogant, the Rangers guy. He's gone to Norwich, I think, now, hasn't he?
Philippe Clement.
And I just couldn't get on. I thought he was, a little bit over the top him, but I didn't think he grasped what the Rangers was, what it meant to him. Really, it's life or death up there, and it's one of my regrets that not ever having a chance at Rangers, because obviously with Alan Brazil and all that, I'd love to have shoved it, there. But it was, they're two fantastic clubs, Sam, and they will come back. They will come. All credit to Hearts for doing what they're doing, but I bet Martin deep down is thinking, wow, because Martin just turned it all around, didn't he?
Well, it seems a little bit now strange that they decided to rush into making this decision when clearly it wasn't set up and ready to go, because they must have known, having spoken to Wilfred Nancy, that he was wedded to a certain system and what he was going to do when he came in. It would be reckless if they hadn't realised that was going to be the case. So knowing that the squad wasn't quite prepared for it, did they need to rush this appointment?
Well, it depends how long Martin O'Neill wanted to keep going for. He's not in the first flush of youth with.
Hey, you be quiet, you. Be
Be
careful what you say.
So maybe he wanted to be short term, but you're right. If he was happy to stay, that would have made a lot more sense. And listen, I don't want to alienate my newfound friends from my trip to Washington last weekend, but I do wonder what they saw in the Columbus Crew manager that made them think he could come in and manage a juggernaut like Celtic.
03717 223344. That's the number to call if you want to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you this morning if you're a Celtic fan. We're going to talk Aston Villa, another victory for Unai Emery. We're going to talk Nottingham Forest, the first away victory in Europe in 30 years. Crystal Palace have given themselves a great chance of qualifying for the Conference League knockout stages directly as well. 03717 223344. That is the number to call. We would love to hear from you. And you can text us. You can send us a WhatsApp note as well. 03717 223344. Martin O'Neill, by the way, scheduled to be back in the studio with Jim and Simon on Monday. But should we wait to see what happens in the League Cup final first? This is talkSPORT.
Oh.
Hello, good morning to you. It's Friday. It's Sam Matterface alongside Alex Crook. And we've got Neil Warnock in the studio with us today, the former Crystal Palace, Notts County.
You haven't got time, Sam.
Sorry, yeah. We have got somebody else coming in at 1 o'clock. We're talking a little bit about Celtic and the Europa League action from last night. Utrecht beaten by Forest by 2-1. Jesus coming off the bench within 82 seconds to score the goal that got Sean Dyche's team all 3 points in the Europa League. Villa beating Basel by 2-1. Gessin and Tielemans with a strike from the edge of the penalty area, which was really important for Unai Emery. It's now 8 wins in a row, their best run since 1914. You remember that team from 1914, don't you, Neil?
You be careful, Sam, all right? Just be careful, you.
Shelbourne beaten at home by Palace by 3-0. Uche, Nketiah and Pino scoring in the first half as well. Let's talk Celtic with Paddy, who's a Celtic fan. Hello.
Morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Thank you very much. What do you want to say?
I was basically just calling up to try and at least, offer some alternative opinion to Wilfred Nancy. I mean, everything that we've heard since he was appointed last week and came straight in the door and took on Hearts in his second day in the job, third day in the job, it's been absolutely embarrassing through the kind of reporting side and the whole social media side about this guy. Talking about his tactics board, and I think it was Neil that was talking about his green trainers about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Come on, Neil, that's absolutely
That was
nonsense.
the one, I know.
Listen, it's not a fashion show, There's a certain club up in Scotland where you get absolutely vilified if you don't wear brown brogues, so I think we can give the green trainers on us.
But what do you think of the way he's conducted himself, and what do you think about the way the club has conducted himself? Because it may well be that he is an excellent coach and he is someone who can certainly influence Celtic, but was he given the best possible chance to do so, bearing in mind he was rushed in the door at the end of last week after Martin O'Neill seemingly had got things settled and on an even keel? Was there any need to disrupt it in that manner? Once they realised that the work permit stuff wasn't going to go through that quickly, once they realised that it was going to take a little bit of time, why didn't they just keep him on the bench for a little while, or just keep him in cold storage just until there was an opportunity to bring him back in when he had the opportunity to actually implement his methods or some less high pressurised fixtures?
Well, straight away, I would say that's a bit of a different narrative of what's actually happened. I mean, what we saw this season, and it's not just on the manager and the players, there's been a lot of internal conflict between the club and management and, a lot of stuff with the transfers and whatnot. But we've had Brendan Rodgers walk away for the second time, may I add. We've had to bring in an interim manager, and luckily enough, Martin O'Neill stepped up with Sean Maloney, Mark Fotheringham, Steve McManus, as well as Gavin Strachan, who's still there. Steadied the ship, got us some great performances. As far as I'm concerned, those players were kind of all over the place at the start of the season. Everything was not looking great whatsoever. The football was terrible. You had Brendan Rodgers coming out almost every week, make snide little comments about, having to manage a team of Honda Civic players. And then Martin O'Neill comes in and you can see the players, they look far more refreshed. They look a wee bit more aggressive. The Honda Civic starts getting into fifth gear. And we get the performances coupled up with final. We beat them away a couple of weeks ago. And then we've got the new manager in. But it's not as if we've literally just, kicked Martin O'Neill out the door and just brought this guy in the next day. The deal for Wilfred Nancy's obviously been in the work for weeks. And work permits are allegedly have held that up. That's why we've had to, ask Martin O'Neill to stay on just a wee bit longer. And you guys will know fine well what Martin O'Neill's comments have been. He's come out and said it. He's been in your studio or on the phone and saying, I don't want to be the permanent manager. I'm hanging on until I'm needed to be told to go. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, but why would the new manager come in and change everything when you've done so well? I know if Martin's not staying.
Neil, what is it he's changed? What is it he's changed so dramatically?
Well, it almost looked like tactics to me.
He did change the formation, did he not, in his first game at the weekend?
He's playing 3-5-2.
Right.
Right, so it's not that much dissimilar from what we play. When we play at Celtic Park, and we've got teams like Hearts to a certain extent for the first half. And you know what it's like, Neil, teams come to Celtic Park.
They sit in, don't they? Yeah.
They sit in their own half. So it's essentially, see, even if we start in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 or whatever, a 4 at the back formation, those teams sit in and we've got all our players going forward anyway. And we've literally got 2 guys sitting at the back camping out. with the rest all supporting. So that's why we've got an extra body there, and the person who was playing on the left-hand side of the 3-5-2 was Kieran Tierney, who is a fullback, right? I'm sure one of the guys said earlier on that, there's 3 left-footed centre-backs playing in the back three. See, prior to Brendan Rodgers leaving, now Austin Trusty was at the team. We didn't know why. I think he had a slight injury as well, but we didn't know why he was out the team, and we were playing like Dane Murray at Hearts and whatnot. Brendan Rodgers more or less came out and says that Austin Trusty can't play on the right-hand side. See, since Austin Trusty's come into the back three, and previous to that, a couple of games with Martin O'Neill playing the 2 central defence with Scales and Trusty, who are both left-footed. Trusty's had some cracking games on the right-hand side, and Trusty's probably been one of the better defenders.
Okay, really good. Okay. So you think that there's still more to come, and you're a little bit sort of. Okay, hold on 2 seconds.
It's 2 games.
Paddy, you've had a long say, and we're going to just get the converse opinion from Mark, who's another Celtic fan. So, Paddy, you stay there, and you might want to talk to Mark in just a minute. But Mark is not so convinced that everything is going to turn around for Wilfried Nancy, and is not necessarily sure that it's been handled in the right way. Go on then, Mark, you say your piece.
Morning, gentlemen. Yeah, basically, I have never been someone who is had a knee-jerk reaction to managers. I was one of the last to say that Mowbray should go because I could see what he was trying to do, etc. However, as soon as I watched this guy's first press conference, I had him marked as a waffle merchant. He just waffles. He goes on about connections and positivity and using all these buzzwords. It's just management speak, utter waffle. And then you see his team, they run about that pitch against Hearts. When we were 2-0 down against Hearts, he was throwing everything at it. He looked to me, he didn't have a clue what he was doing. Last night, we were torn a shred by a good side. Granted, they are a good side. But I doubt we would have lost the game against Hearts under Martin O'Neill. And I doubt we would have been absolutely destroyed last night against Roma by Martin O'Neill with the same squad of players. Now, that squad lacks quality. We know that. We are deficient of probably 5 quality players.
And that's on the board that didn't spend the money that they were supposed to spend in the summer.
Of course it is. And the management by the board has been nothing short of abysmal. Everyone can agree on that. However, Martin O'Neill would have set them up to not get beat first and foremost, to sit in, to dig in, to run through brick walls and not get absolutely annihilated. And I'm sorry, but this guy he looked as though, it was like Evan Ferguson said, the Celtic players looked as though they didn't know what they were doing. And I'm sorry, that's on the manager.
Okay, Mark, stay there. Let's get Paddy. Paddy, you got about 20 seconds to tell us what you think about what Mark said.
Well, I mean, certainly there's some points that I can't disagree with, certainly in terms of the board and, being short of players. I mean, we've got Dyson Maeda who's having to play the striker, and in the last couple of games he's basically been playing with one eye, with a bandage on. Not that that's any excuse, but, the new manager's come in and he's trying to implement change, and I can see snippets of what he's doing. But last night, the manager couldn't account for Nygren running about as if he's towing a caravan, and Engels just being a complete waste of a jersey, and slipping about and falling about, misplaced passes here and there. But the zipping about between the likes of the centre-backs to Callum McGregor to Rio Hatate has been a lot better. We've been crying out for a change in formation and approach play for ages, instead of the horseshoe, boring nonsense under Brendan Rodgers, and we've got a guy in here who's trying to zip it up a wee bit. He's been in the door since last week. He's 2 games in. Hearts, we were the better team in the first half with about 5 or 6 chances. If Maeda buries one of them, we put Hearts on the back foot. But same old adage, we didn't take our chances, and Hearts,
okay,
Hearts
Paddy,
made it count.
We've got to leave it there, but thank you very much. Good luck for the cup final at the weekend. Mark, thank you very much for getting in touch with us. We appreciate it.
2 great callers, weren't they?
2 great callers. Let
2
them go.
great callers.
It's good to get insight from what the fan base are thinking. Honda Civic, common Scottish football, including Rangers and Celtic. It's more like 40-year-old Skoda, for goodness sake. Look, it's what it is. They wish they could have a reality check and more honest about what Scottish football is now. Not entirely their fault because of the lack of investment. It's time to get real. Roma are a good team, says one texter this morning. I'm not necessarily sure about that. I think there's a standard at Celtic and Rangers which has to be maintained, and at the moment that standard is dropping. Hearts filling the vacuum. We'll see what happens at the weekend. We'll speak to another man who's got an interest in Celtic in the next few moments, because Robbie Keane, the Ferencváros manager who dispatched Rangers last night, is on the programme next.
Unai Emery's very pleased with how his Villa squad's responding to rotation. 8 changes were made for the win at Basel, which keeps Villa top of the Europa League table. Jason Cundy's astounded by their domestic form as well.
You've got to go back to the 28th of September for their first win. Since then, they now lead the Premier League on points and games played, Gemma, by 3.
Meanwhile, Scott Minto says Forest need to make the Europa League top 8 to help ease their Premier League survival push. Igor Jesus' late winner at Utrecht means Forest are 11th with 2 games to go. Wilfried Nancy's trying to stay positive after a 3-0 defeat to Roma. Nancy's the first Celtic manager to lose his opening 2 games, and chants of sack the board rang out again at Parkhead. We're told England fans will have to dip into life savings to attend the World Cup final. The cheapest ticket is over £3,000. Nick Jones from the England Supporters Travel Club told us nearly everyone in his WhatsApp group has decided not to go.
But that's not accessible to all the travel club members, so those who don't have enough points will have to pay more for.
Hello, it's Friday, it's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and we've got Neil Warnock in the studio this morning as well. Heart in the box seat, says Paul. Goodness me, Crookie, that's wild, even from you in big capital letters. Celtic will romp the league after Christmas, Paulie. Haven't
Hearts beaten them twice?
Hearts currently top of the table by 3 points. However, Celtic do have a game in hand.
They've won so many games over the course of the season. It's now on they're going to pick up those 3 points.
Well, they've won 10
in
the league. So
Out
of 15.
Right. Failed to win 5 times, lost to Hearts twice already.
Well, Hearts have failed to win 6 times.
Let's see.
I think Celtic will still win it, but with a bit of luck, he'll soon start winning, won't he?
Well, you never know. Rangers all but out of the Europa League after defeat in Hungary last night, despite going ahead actually in the game after a very, very late offside call. Now they've got to beat Ludogorets and Porto if they're to have any chance of getting through, which they're probably not going to do. And even if they did that, they'll only have 7 points, and that won't be enough. Anyway, Ferencváros boss Robbie Keane said afterwards that Rangers didn't even deserve the 1 goal that they got in the post-match interviews, and what a job he is doing in charge of Ferencváros. Top of the table in Hungary. They're in the automatic qualification places in the Europa League, and they've just taken a big scalp as well. Very good morning to you, Robbie. Thank you very much for joining us live on talkSPORT this morning. How much more satisfying was it for you as a former Celtic man to beat Rangers in that manner last night?
Morning, guys. Hope you're all well. It's good to see you, Neil.
Thank you.
Listen. For me, it's, of course, because of the association to Celtic. It's always nice to win against Rangers, but for me, it doesn't matter who I play against. Whoever's in front of me, I want to beat, regardless of the team. It just happened to be Rangers last night, but the performance from our lads was incredible from start to finish. I'm proud of what the lads are doing, especially with the teams that we played in Europe, and in terms of the budget, etc. Everyone's budget is double our budget, and to do what we've done is a credit to the guys.
How much are you enjoying life in Hungary? We've pointed out the achievements so far. Obviously, an historic club in that area of the world. What is it that makes it so much fun for you?
Well, if you've seen any of the highlights last night, and I spoke to a lot of the journalists after, they couldn't believe the atmosphere in the stadium.
Terrific.
Their fans are absolutely incredible. Actually, it's very similar to the Celtic fans in terms of how they celebrate. And it's been unbelievable so far. It's been an incredible year. As you said, we won the league last year. We're top of the league now, and then haven't lost in Europe yet. So it's a special place. And the reason why I came here, to be involved in Europe, as a player, I've been involved in massive games in the Champions League and UEFA Cup, and this is one of the reasons why I came here, because I wanted to be involved in these massive games. And the teams that we've played, Genk, Salzburg, Rangers, Fenerbahce, this is what I want to be involved in.
I saw your celebrations after the game, Robbie, and I thought to myself, you're only a young manager in comparison with me, but I just thought that you've got to remember these days. They're fabulous days when you get that win, especially no matter what you say about it, it's just another game. That's a load of rubbish. It was Rangers. And deep down, I know what it meant to you. And I thought your celebrations were fabulous. And you, like I say, enjoy every minute, because, it flies by now in football. It does. And it seems to me, when I looked at your team, it looked like the dressing room was fabulous. That everybody were playing for each other, fighting for each other. If somebody made a mistake, somebody else got in there. I was really pleased. I thought it was a really good team performance.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. It means a lot coming from you. No, listen. Of course, I was getting stick as well. Of course, during the game. So, which is normal, which I expect, which I don't mind. It's a bit of fun. So, of course, I'm going to celebrate. But I'm passionate anyway. I was like that as a player. Very, very passionate. It was sweet to beat Rangers. The amount of stick I've been putting my head down with a hood up, walking around the city, so I don't bump into too many. What I just said, about the team, the togetherness that we have, the group. That's the one thing I wanted to create when I came here first, is having that togetherness. And better than anybody. I've obviously spoke to a lot of people that, that you've managed, and the way you had the group together yourself. Mick McCarthy was the same. Mick was incredible at doing that, and I'm trying to take bits from everybody that have managed me, And for me, the most important thing is if you have a group together that's willing to fight for each other, and that's what this group of players is doing. I mean, as I go back to before, yes, we're probably not the biggest teams in terms of budget and stuff like that, but it's still 11 against 11 at the end of the day. And that's I have to put that message into the guys that I don't care who we play against. Went to Fenerbahce last week. I wanted to go and win that game.
Do you know, Robbie, you know, with I've got 8 promotions, me, and you know, I've never, ever had a good side, but I've always had the best dressing room. And that's what's got me promotions, that dressing room. You can't coach it, can you? You can't get it on a manual. You can't look on a computer. It's there. It's making that dressing room. Them lads going out knowing that they're going to get, you know, they've got a great chance.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the jobs that you've done is incredible. As you said, you know, it's having that togetherness and having that group, you know, willing to fight for each other. Yes, they're going to have problems, of course. You know that more than anybody off the field. But you know, I've played the game. I understand what a dressing room needs to feel like. I understand. I can read things very, very quickly. If I know that someone is trying to bring the dressing room down, which I've already got rid of, which I won't have. And I continue to do that. So to have a solid dressing room, solid people in there, and having a good backroom staff as well. You know, Phil Hudson, who's we worked under you, a Middlesbrough analyst, he's with me here. Stephen Glass, assistant manager, who's managed. So to have them around you as well, which is great. So we have a really good unit.
On the subject of togetherness and people trying to bring the dressing room down, I'd be really intrigued to get your view on the Mo Salah situation.
Here we go. I know exactly.
No, because obviously you've been a player, so you'll probably have some sympathy with Mo Salah, but you've now got your managerial hat on. So whose corner are you in this particular instance? Are you with the player or the manager?
No. In terms of the player, unbelievable what he's done for the football club, and you can never knock what he's done. That goes without saying. He wants to play. He's passionate. You know, I was a player when sometimes you don't play, you know, you do lose your head at times. Of course, when you're on the other side, then when you're a manager, you know, if you accept that, and that means everybody else can do it then. And then regardless who it is, whether you're the best player in the team or you're one of the younger players, everyone has to be kind of treated mostly the same. I think he probably will regret the words that he's used. I think I would if I was in his position, but I can totally understand that. You know, what he wants to play with. For me, that's a conversation in the office with the manager and not in public.
Would you be asking for an apology, though, if you were Arne Slot?
You don't ask for an apology, do you, Robbie? You'll have a chat together, won't they?
Yeah, you have a chat together. And as Neil said, you don't go, oh, you have to apologise to me. I don't think it's. I think you have a conversation in the office, and if he wants to apologise to the group, well, then that's up to him. But I think I heard a lot of comments about, you know, people saying, you know, the captain has to step in, and I'm sure in the background he was always a captain myself in certain situations I had to sort out. Stevie G was the same, but I'm sure in the background the experienced players are trying to sort this out, because at the end of the day, no matter what, you're going to need Mo Salah, and I hope for his sake that because what he's done for the football club, that this is not the last we see of Mo Salah.
I saw the broadcast last night, and everyone keeps asking you about coming back to the SPL or coming back to the Premier League or coming back to the Championship. I'm sure there is a part of you that wants to manage at the highest possible level, but what are the benefits of developing your career out of the glare of the British and Irish media?
Well, if you're at a football club like this, there's massive pressure. Maybe you guys don't see it because you're away from it. You know, most successful club in the last 8-10 years. So there's pressure that comes with that because you have to win. I love that. I enjoy the pressure. And I said last night after the game, I understand why people keep asking me, because I played in the Premier League. People, see me as that, but I'm from Ireland, so it doesn't matter where I go. You know, it's an hour, 2 hours away on a flight. It's no difference to me. Of course, I want to manage at the highest level, but this is a high level. I'm in the UEFA Cup. I'm playing against Fenerbahce. I'm playing against Genk, Salzburg, Rangers, huge clubs. Panathinaikos coming up, Nottingham Forest in our last game. So, this is a huge club. It's different, as you said. Maybe I'm away from, if you say, the limelight a little bit away from there, but I want to do things my way. I want to go to a team that has a chance of doing something and winning and play the way I want to play, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
The quote that stood out for me wasn't this week. It was a few months ago when you said, "My players don't stop if they smell blood." Does that sum up the kind of ethos that you've got as a head coach?
Yeah, I think you seen that last night in the game. So we were a much better team against Rangers. They got the goal, debatable to be honest with you, offside. Then we scored just before half time, and I told them, I think they will go now. And the first 20 minutes in the second half, as you said about smelling blood, I was pushing the players, go press them, and they couldn't get over our own half. And then once you smell that as a player, it's all as a coach and as a player. When I was playing myself, and I could see that centre half was struggling, I would use that to my benefit and play on his side most of the time. And that's what we did last night to Rangers, especially in the second half.
Listen, we appreciate you coming in. One more question before we let you go. Can you win the Europa League with Ferencváros?
It'd be a big ask. But who knows?
You never know. You never know, Robbie.
You never know. You never know in football. People didn't think we're going to win these games, and we wouldn't.
Robbie, give Phil my regards, won't you, Rob?
I will do. He said hello to you also.
I don't suppose he's bought you a drink yet, has he?
Oh no! He says you never bought him a drink either.
See you later, Robbie. Good luck. Thanks, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you very much for coming on. Congratulations for the job that you're doing out there. He's doing a terrific job. Beat Rangers last night. They played really well. Very, very good club. Historic club in Hungarian football. They're top of the table, and they look like they're going to qualify in the Europa League as well. Robbie Keane joining us live on the programme this morning. As soon as you started talking, he started going, "Oh, no, I know what's
He led me into it, to be fair, talking about togetherness in the dressing room.
There's only Alex can do that, isn't there? Let him do all the dirty work.
This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, the Crook Meister, and Neil Warnock. We're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com. will throw to the credit, boss, who's talking to me in my ear, but Neil just answering a phone call, if that's all right. It may well be that some member of the Celtic board that's trying to get him back up to Scotland for a second stint in the SPL.
Rangers, Sam.
Oh, it would have to be Rangers. You wouldn't do Celtic now?
No, you're joking, or what?
Right, let's get the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Get ready for the golden era of sports betting. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Neil Warnock is here, and it's Friday, so the discipline goes out the window. You know what it's like. And even Dan Towles now is falling into line with the rest of the reprobates that work on this programme by changing the whole schedule to suit his travel needs. Hi, Dan.
Morning, Sam. You okay?
Yeah, so we've got to do this at 11:15 because you've got a flight to catch. Does that mean the pub opens at 11? Is that what it means?
No. I have got a flight to catch, and I'm extremely appreciative of you changing the schedule and referee Joe putting me in at 11:15 instead of 5:30.
I've got Brazil standing behind the glass here, giving all sorts of hand signals to Neil Warnock. No one else can see him apart from me.
Dan, was it this weekend you and I were supposed to be seeing Pete Tong? Are you still doing that?
Are you sure it's Pete Tong, not Judge Jules? Because you get those two confused.
Yeah, Crookie, tomorrow night, yes, we were supposed to be at the O2 together, but you flaked out, didn't you? And said you couldn't make it because you're in Washington last week. What last week had to do with tomorrow, I've got no idea. But you said, I'm definitely in for it. And then you sent a message saying, I'm really sorry, I can't make it now because I'm in Washington the week before.
That sounds like Crook.
Count me in next year.
Unless there was a free bar or some racing going on, he's never going to be there. Shall we have a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM, and some big Premier League matches this weekend, including a huge derby match?
Is a huge derby match. First time we're derby in the Premier League since 2016. They did play each other in the FA Cup last January when Newcastle went out the 3-0 winners that day. But Sunderland, we mentioned it last week, they've been excellent so far this season. They're unbeaten at home. Only 4 places separate them, and it's just 1 point. But I think Eddie Howe must be looking at the next few fixtures and thinking, God, I've got a couple of weeks coming up. Post this game, they've got Fulham in the League Cup quarter-final on Wednesday. They got Chelsea at home, then they travelled to Man United on Boxing Day. So there's a huge couple of weeks coming up from them. Sunderland 23-10, Newcastle up 5-4 to go there and win on Sunday. At the same time, kick-off time, fourth face second with Crystal Palace hosting Man City. Palace haven't been City at home since 2015, but they did beat them in Wembley in the FA Cup final back in May. Both teams coming off the back of some victories in Europe at Real Madrid and Shelbourne, respectively. But whilst City are odds on at 5-6, I thought Palace looked good for the win at Fulham last week. And I think 3-1 isn't a bad price for them at home to Pep Guardiola's side on Sunday.
Crystal Palace, Man City, always an interesting fixture. You mentioned the FA Cup, but they've been up to Man City and won a couple of times as well, which has been quite fascinating. Kevin Phillips, by the way, coming on the show to preview Sunderland versus Newcastle very shortly. Golden goals. Now, tell us what it's all about and tell us how much money we got in the pot.
Yeah, free-to-play game on the app, no deposit required for BetMGM customers, and you could win up to £250,000 if you correctly predict 6 scores in the Premier League this weekend. But for you guys, we asked you to pick the correct score in one fixture, and if you get it right, we put £500 towards prostate cancer. We got £1,000 in the pot so far this season. Scott Minto, duly obliged a couple of weeks ago. Neil's going to go for the first time this weekend, so I think we'll start with him. And Mr. Warnock, we've given you Brentford versus Leeds.
Yeah, it's a good game. I was really pleased for Daniel Farke for the 3 games, because the 3 games everybody said they wouldn't get any points. To get 4 and they could have got more, it's a fantastic, and they must be buzzing. Brentford's a difficult place. 2 really good managers, I think, there. But I think Daniel, they've got a chance of getting a point there. So I'm going to go 1-1. But I hope I get the money if it's 0-0 as well. Will I get that?
Hedge your bet.
Leeds have lost their last 9 Premier League games in London. Crookie and I will be going to that one. What do you make of that, Dan?
You've just read my notes. I had exactly the same note in front of me. Leeds have lost their last 9 Premier League visits to London. 3 of the last 5 meetings between the clubs have ended in a draw. So Mr. Warnock might not be too far out of his 1-1 prediction. That's a 5-1 chance. Sam, we've given you Liverpool-Brighton.
Yes, you have. Liverpool have lost just one of their last 8 Premier League home games against Brighton, but this is not a normal season. It's fascinating, isn't it? You know, the way that Liverpool have just tightened up a little bit in the last 3 games. They're unbeaten in 4 now. I think they'll win this. Very difficult to see anything other than 3 points for Arne Slot's team. Liverpool 2, Brighton 1. Although Brighton have kept a clean sheet in each of their last 2 Premier League away games.
Yeah, the same game was 2-1 Liverpool win last year as well. To be honest, with Brighton, I think we play against better sides. And last couple of weeks have been a little bit hit and miss. But Liverpool 2, Brighton 1 is a 13-2 shout. And then Crookie, we've given you Chelsea versus Everton.
Yeah, it's the game I'm at for talkSPORT tomorrow. It looks tricky on paper, but then you consider Everton's record at Stamford Bridge. No wins there in 30 top-flight games. I watched Chelsea against Atalanta in midweek. I thought they were poor, actually. Maresca's tinkering backfired. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I think Everton in a good vein of form. I think they can get a point.
Yeah, Everton won their last 2 away Premier League matches, and Chelsea have drawn 2 of their last 3 Premier League games. So Chelsea 2, Everton 2 is 11.5 to 1. So, Sam, you've gone for a 2-1 Liverpool win over Brighton. Crookie, a 2-2 draw Chelsea versus Everton. Neil, you've gone for a 1-1 draw Brentford versus Leeds. 550 to 1 for the treble. But like we always say, let's try and get some money in the pot for prostate cancer.
Good job. I'm the only one who's not sitting on the fence this weekend, isn't it? Right, OK, let's very quickly. There's racing at Cheltenham, apparently. We haven't got much time. We better do it quickly. I'm surprised that there is racing at Cheltenham and Crookie is here. So
I was invited tomorrow.
Yeah, I bet you were.
I had to turn that down as well.
Very quickly then, Sam. Well, he doesn't work. Crookie does not work. BetMGM sponsored 2 big races tomorrow, 2:25 and 3:35. But I just wanted to touch on the December Gold Cup, which has been renamed the Hunt Family Fund December Gold Cup, and that's in support of racing commentator John Hunt and his family, who experienced that awful tragedy back in July last year. Jaguar is 100 to 30 favourite. He actually won the Festival Plate back in March, but I fancy the Dan Skelton trained Ho Jody Smoke. He finished 3rd last month behind another Dan Skelton trained horse, funny enough, called Panic Attack, who actually went on to win the big race at Newbury last month. So form guide reads well, and I think at 5 to 1 he could be a bit of value.
Excellent stuff. Crookie had a really good day at Fontwell when he was tipping up loads of winners on Monday.
Did you get an invite to Fontwell, Sam?
I did, yeah.
That's why he's a little bit anti at the moment. Because he didn't really get invited. They didn't want him. Really.
I did get invited, but I turned it down because I actually went to work, which is amazing, isn't it? You know, fancy doing that. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
It's talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Neil Warnock. We're here through till 1 with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines, just coming up to 2 minutes past 11, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Arne Slot speaking to Mo Salah this morning. So, is Mo in or out?
And the next time I talk about Mo should be with him. And I have no reasons not wanting him to stay, if that is a little bit of an answer to your question.
That's not really cleared anything up. Salah had suggested Brighton's visit to Anfield tomorrow could be his last game for Liverpool. Alexander Isak is an injury doubt for that one. Meanwhile, Fabian Hürzeler says recalling Evan Ferguson from his loan at Roma is always an option for Brighton. Ferguson scored again in Roma's 3-0 win at Celtic as Wilfred Nancy tries to stay positive following his second consecutive defeat. Neil Warnock's not sure about Nancy.
You can't be flippant. He was almost flippant. He was almost, I'll do it my way and I'm not bothered about this. Well, you've got to care. You've got to... I just thought, like Ferguson said, they didn't look as though they knew what they were doing, did they?
William Saliba still hasn't trained with Arsenal. Mikel Arteta hasn't said if he's fit to face Wolves live on talkSPORT tomorrow evening. Some breaking news. Preston manager Paul Heckingbottom has been given a 3-match touchline ban for misconduct. That's after his behaviour in the game against Watford on Tuesday, the 25th of November. Heckingbottom's also received a 10 grand fine from the FA. England fans are telling us the price of World Cup tickets are putting them off going. Ian Holloway's asking FIFA to explain why it costs so much.
Just keeping humble, but what on earth is this all about? There is no justification for these prices. The cheapest ticket's nearly 200 quid. That is so wrong on any level. There is no need of it.
Scotland's cheapest group game with Haiti costs £134, the same as England's games against Ghana and Panama. And the World Darts is back for day 2 this afternoon. The session is live from Ali Pali over on talkSPORT 2 from 12:30.
talkSPORT News.
A surge in hospital flu admissions in England could triple this winter, and for the second month running, the UK economy shrank 0.1%. More from the news team in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Bit of rain hanging about in the southeast where it's milder, elsewhere more settled but colder with sunny spells. The northwest sees blustery showers.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's Sam Matterface, the Crookmeister, and Neil Warnock is here. We're through till 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it's already been quite a spicy morning so far. We've spoke Celtic, Rangers, the Europa League teams winning last night, the English representatives, and a victory for Crystal Palace, which puts them on the verge of qualification for the Conference League next round as well. But what a horrible night it was. I don't know about what you were doing last night, where you were, but I was in the pub and I got a text message from one of my mates, and then the cascade started, and it was all about World Cup ticket prices. Every WhatsApp group that I was in, every bit of social media that I saw last night was all about the same subject. The fans group, the Football Supporters Europe, has said it is astonished by FIFA's extortionate pricing strategy and called for ticket sales to be halted immediately to the World Cup in 2026. Ticket prices for FIFA's showpiece event are as much as 7 times more expensive than the 2022 World Cup. The lowest price tickets are costing £450. In a departure from recent tournaments, group stage games are to be priced on the perceived popularity of teams involved rather than at a flat rate. FIFA hasn't provided any details yet on how this popularity metric has been determined. What I thought was really fascinating was when I got the spreadsheet up from the original bid document, which suggested that there would be tickets priced at around about $60 for some games in the group stages, only now to find that they have disappeared and that the cheapest tickets are over $100 now. Let's speak to Thomas Concannon, who is the FSA spokesperson. He was with us last week, and he gave us a little warning that this could be the case. And this is, quite frankly, absolutely astonishing, isn't it? England fans discovering yesterday that it's likely to cost them a minimum of £5,200 just to watch their team if they're going to follow them from first game to final. What did you make of it when you first got the confirmation? Even you, I'm sure, who has been studying this for the last few months, was absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah, I really was, Sam. It was... Obviously, I was on last week, and I really didn't see we knew the prices were going to be high. I really didn't see them being this high. That price for the final, in particular, which England fans are used to paying in advance, just in case we get there, is absolutely astonishing. £3,200 is effectively what that's going to cost. That's £35 a minute. It's just absolutely astonishing. $7,000 to follow England right from the start to the finish. They didn't need to do this. They could have looked after the participating nations, even though they're not looking after general admission and selling the prices to the American market as they wish. They could have looked after the supporters of the nations that follow them through thick and thin, and they haven't done that. They've actually made it even worse, and England fans are paying more than what other countries are. They've weighted the countries in terms of popularity. It's just completely unacceptable. It's an absolute disgrace.
How can they get away with producing a document which says when we bid for this tournament, we are going to charge for Category 4 tickets 60, 21, 21, 31, 42 for the first 4 rounds of the competition. Category 3 tickets, $174 in group games. $300 tickets for Category 2 pricing in the group games. And then for the inflation to take it so much higher by the time the reality starts to kick in, and the proposed prices now being so much more than that. I mean, the cheapest ticket for an England opener is $265.
Yeah, I mean, that bid submittal years ago was supposed to include inflation, and they've just decided that there's a market to go even further with this. It's clear where this is coming from. It's seemingly FIFA's mentality nowadays of just trying to get as much money in as possible, and it's pricing out the loyal supporters. As I've said, it's just really disappointing. We've just called on the FAs to try and stand together and call this out, because someone needs to back up the supporters here. There's supporters who have attended tournaments for years, and they're ultimately going to be priced out of it. Some supporters, it's once in a lifetime opportunity, and this might have been it, and they just want to be able to afford it. And if they can, they're probably putting themselves in debt to do so. That cost for tickets, that's just tickets alone. The flight prices, the hotel prices have all shot through the roof. It's just so expensive.
Thomas, you've sort of alluded to it there, but are you disappointed that we've been met by a wall of silence from the FA so far? Why have they not released a statement? Why have they not called this out for what it is, which is a disgrace, quite frankly, from FIFA? They've had enough time now, haven't they, to go into bat for you supporters?
I think, yeah, I mean, obviously the prices came out 24 hours ago. I think the FA didn't get them long before that. That's been part of the problem.
They should have been ready, though, should they not?
Well, yes, but I think it's probably a difficult point that it'll look like the English are complaining again. It'll be we need everyone to group together on this. Every single FA need to come together on this, and hopefully the FA are working on that, because they need to stand up for supporters. Staying silent is not an option.
Will you go? Will members of your group go and find somewhere else to watch it rather than go to matches themselves? A lot of people suggesting now that if they are going to go to matches in America, they won't be going into the more high tariff games later on. And do you think that England fans should boycott the tournament?
It's a difficult one to say. I think it's going to be an individual choice if people decide to pay this or not. I think the majority are going to say that they're not going to pay this. Unfortunately, a lot of England fans did book travel, as I did myself. We booked travel. We're ready and set to go. But these ticket prices are certainly a conversation to be had as to whether we can even afford this. From a personal level, I can't afford those prices. So it'll just be a case of just having to wait and see what happens. But the plan is still obviously to go and be out there and help England fans who do make the trip. But yeah, it's just really disappointing that it won't be like previous World Cups where England fans would travel in the thousands, as they should, to Mexico, America and Canada. 3 great countries that we have great relationships with. We could have had a fantastic time. But you'll just see a lot more people will just stay at home and watch it in the pubs. And
Thomas, can I just say, I've listened the last 24 hours and everybody's of the same feeling about how disappointed they are with the pricing and everything else. But do you know, the hierarchy, the people at the top, they know that whatever price they put on, we'll sell them all. They know that we'll sell out, even though I know what you're saying, people will go into debt. Because it's a once in a lifetime for some people. I mean, people at my age, for example, you think every 4 years you've got to go. And so people will borrow money and use the credit card, whatever they do. They will sell out every ticket and we'll travel with thousands. And that's what disappoints me because...
Is there a case then, Neil? Is there a case, Thomas, that actually we should treat this in a similar manner in which we treated the expansion of the Super League and the suggestion of the Super League coming into play, where actually the fans stood up and said, no, we're not going to do this, we're not going to have it, and put paid to it within 24 hours by making it very, very clear that they were not going to get behind it.
Yeah, but the issue you've got there is that even if genuine fans are priced out, there are going to be
other people,
tourists and casual football fans who will pay the money. And I said to you in a private conversation last night, this is not a World Cup problem or a FIFA problem, although I condemn FIFA in the strongest possible terms. This is a football problem because football as a sport doesn't want the loyal supporters buying their season tickets. They want the day trippers and the tourists who are willing to pay over the odds to come and watch their heroes.
Yeah, I think just to jump in on that, Neil's right. The expats will probably fill the stadiums and it'll all look healthy. Everything will look great. But the reality is there are the loyal supporters who have been priced out of this, and clearly FIFA aren't bothered about that whatsoever. The allocations are also really low. We've only got 4,500 tickets for the final in an 82,000-seater stadium. Like that again is scandalous in itself. But so they'll fill the seats however they want. They could have kept the tickets for the participating nations cheaper and affordable for the fans that are expected to travel and make the spectacle what is. But they haven't. They've gone in completely the opposite direction. They're actually charging us more. So it's we just can't understand this. And hopefully the tickets haven't gone on sale yet. We just need as much pressure on as possible to try and halt this, as Football Supporters Europe said.
You say that the expats will fill the stadiums. My brother is an American citizen. He's lived there for 20 years. He's very excited about the World Cup. We're in the same group as him. Last night, he said to us, he had looked into the possibilities going to Dallas, just as a one-off experience. Just he wanted to go and see England. So he tried to go to Dallas. Doesn't live that far away. But he said it was so cost prohibitive for him to drive there and get a ticket and get it. He reckons it would cost him $3,500 just to do that one game. And he lives in the United States of America. So,
yeah,
the cost is prohibitive, not just for England fans that want to come from these shores, that have got all the caps and have been doing the tours around Europe and the qualifiers. It's cost prohibitive for everyone. How are they going to fill these stadiums?
Yeah, that is the interesting thing, is that it will be interesting to see as the ticket sales go along. I think that it's clearly been priced as an American market, and this is maybe what they charge for sporting events in America, but this is the World Cup. We don't pay those prices in Europe. I'm sure they don't pay those prices around the world. It's been priced in an American standard, and I suppose the assumption is that they'll fill it and they're confident of filling it on those prices. As it's been marketed by FIFA themselves, it's 104 Super Bowls apparently. I'm not convinced by that, but it's it's just the assumption that this is why it's been priced that way, because they're confident they can get the expats to fill it or the locals to fill it. And we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? I mean, the Club World Cup obviously showed a lot of empty seats, and it would be hardly surprising if that happened again.
What's the next step?
We'll just try and keep the pressure on. We'll speak to the FA. It's making as much noise as possible at this stage. It's obviously FIFA are sort of on their own path with this. It's very difficult to make inroads, but we'll continue to try as much as we possibly can to help support us.
Thank you very much, Thomas Concannon from the Football Supporters Association. He's their spokesperson, and he is absolutely astonished, like the rest of us were. And Neil, you know the role of fans. You know what it's like as a manager. You need the support of your fans, your supporters in the stadium, especially if you're trying to win a World Cup for the first time since 1966.
You will. My biggest worry is that I know people that will go into big debt. and they can't afford it. A lot of people can afford it and they'll go. But it's the people who I know are going to borrow by any means and do things to get money in, to get them tickets. That's the concern for me. How many people are going to fall by the wayside?
I think it's really poor. We've not heard from the FA. We're 24 hours on now from the ticket prices coming out. They should have been ready to go. They knew that prices were going to be high. The fact they've stayed silent is a really poor look on the FA.
03717 22 3344. We want you to tell us what you're going to do now. Will you go to the World Cup? Will you find somewhere to go and watch it with other fans over in America? Or will you just think, forget that, it's too expensive, going to stay here and watch it on TV and listen to it on talkSPORT? 03717 22 3344. It's fascinating. I went on the FIFA website this morning. The FIFA motto says, for the game, for the world. Where's a message? 99% of people in the world can't afford those ticket prices. It's just pure greed. This is talkSPORT. It's talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface, it's Alex Crook, it's Neil Warnock. We're here live on talkSPORT and we're here right the way through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. Well, look at this. Absolutely jam-packed with callers. Keep them coming. 03717 223344. Let's see if Joe behind the screen is pretty organised with his text message rota here, because I'm going to rattle through a few here, so you've got to be careful. Don't delete them as we go along. I live in Atlanta, 20 minutes from the stadium. Looked at tickets last night, and tickets alone will cost me around $2,000 for just Spain-Saudi game for the four of us. Ridiculous, says Kay. Why does everyone sound so surprised at the ticket prices? Because they're 7 times higher than the last World Cup. Genuine fans hardly ever get tickets. You only have to look at Wembley. Absolutely right, by the way, in terms of concert tickets and stuff like that. Genuine fans just cannot get tickets for that stuff anymore. Everything is like a stupid queue. I don't know what's going on, whether or not that there is sort of bots at play here. I don't know, but it's crazy. A high percentage of it is corporate. Those that have the money to go for an occasion, you can tell them from the empty seats after kickoff. The World Cup final will be 80% corporate. Those who have no interest in whatever team, sadly, if the tickets were 100,000 each, they would still be sold. Those with big money would still buy them. Once the game gets to that level, it's gone for the supporters. That's from Daz. Nigel Tinman says, I live and work in North America and was looking forward to catch an England game, but can't afford to take my wife and 2 kids to watch them. It's outrageous. Crookie's spot on. The casual American fan is used to paying $300 for a ticket to a sporting event. Yeah, but $5 grand. This is from Andy in the West Midlands. You think ticket pricing is bad? My brother lives in LA. I wanted to go to an LA Galaxy game. I bought 2 beers and a gin and tonic for my daughter-in-law. It cost me $85. That's the other thing. It's not just the tickets, is it? It's going to be the cost of living when you're out there. It's absolutely huge. You've just come back from America. I was there over the summer. I absolutely love the country. I love the people. Obviously, I've got relatives there. I've really enjoyed every time that I've been there. I've just filled in my visa, and I think I've gone for about 20 visits, luckily, in my life, because family are over there, obviously. But it is expensive.
Yeah, I arrived in Washington on Wednesday night, had a couple of whiskies in the hotel bar to try and beat the jet lag, and got a £40 bill. And then the fella wanted a tip for pouring them for me. Unbelievable. Seriously, it's expensive.
I don't get that problem when I'm in New York in the jazz club. I don't mind paying what it is in there and listening to that music.
Yeah, you're all right with that?
I'm over that. Yeah, I like the bit.
But the World Cup, $20 for a beer, you're going to have that?
No, I don't drink beer.
Right.
Especially not American beer, by the way.
03717 2233 My point on it is that I think it causes a problem for international sport, this, right? Because if you are getting corporate people inside the World Cup final or any of the big games, and you're not having the proper fans, the thing that makes the football so great is the atmosphere and the passion and the energy, and you're damaging the spectacle. Let's speak to Jason, who's a Manchester United fan, and Joe's an England fan. Jason, do you want to start?
Yeah, hi there. Thanks for having me. Just a quick point, really. My son is a wheelchair user, and we go to Old Trafford regularly. And we pay, I think it's £46 for his ticket. My ticket is free because I go as his carer. So I've gone on to last night just out of curiosity, really, and the cheapest ticket is $2.20 for him, and I've also got to pay the same because they don't let carers go for free. And then I've looked at hotels and flights, and I think if the two of us go and his mum, I think we would end up spending around about £22,000.
Is that to go to every game?
No, that's just to go to 2.
Just to go to 2 games?
Because of the cost of the flights, the hotels, and obviously we'd have to stay in different places.
And that's the thing that we're not talking about here. We're talking about tickets, but actually the cost of hotels has gone rapidly through the roof. The cost of flights has gone rapidly through the roof. Everything is just increasing minute by minute, and that makes it prohibitive. How are we going to have anybody turn up at this thing?
We haven't had anything to eat or drink yet either.
Crikey. Jason, appreciate your call. Thank you very much for furnishing us with that information. Joe, your turn. Go.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the World Cup, and I absolutely love big international tournaments, but the ticket pricing and the possibility that a lot of fans are going to be priced out really does leave me with a bad taste. What about you?
It's John, by the way, not Joe, just so you know.
It's all right. Joe behind the screen here is not very good at typing either, as well as not good at using a mouse.
I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, obviously it's an absolute. I feel sick in the stomach. The news that's come out in the last 24 hours. me and the wife have been planning this for a couple of years. We bought reseller tickets in Germany. We weren't members. We paid 900 quid to go out there and watch England. We absolutely fell in love with it, and ever since we've done every England away trip, every home game, every relentless home game at Wembley. We follow Bristol Rovers home and away week in, week out. We got married last year. It cost £27,000. At the moment, our budget for this World Cup is at about £31,000.
Wow.
Because something that's not being discussed, we've got warm-up games we're waiting to be confirmed in Miami. So we're going out on like the 3rd of June.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long trip. It's 7.5 weeks. I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping to be there for 7.5 weeks next summer. It's going to be absolutely relentless, and it's great, and it's wonderful. And do you know what? You talked about falling in love with it. Crook will tell you the story. Switzerland in the quarterfinals of the Euros. We went out that night, didn't we, with all the England fans in Dusseldorf. What was that like, by the way?
Yes. It was superb. And you know what? Qatar got a lot of stick for, the rights and wrongs of whether the World Cup should have been in that particular country. But they didn't price the fans out, FIFA. Quite the opposite. Tickets were very affordable. The infrastructure was good. I mean, a lot of these stadiums as well are nowhere near the city centres, are they? So just getting to the stadium is going to be a massive issue.
Do you think they did that because they thought they weren't sure whether they could fill it in Qatar? Whereas here, I think they know they're going to fill it in America.
But it sets the precedent, doesn't it? If people pay these prices in the States, then what happens in Saudi Arabia? What happens in future tournaments?
Yeah,
what happens in Spain and Morocco? That's where the next World Cup is, isn't it?
Spain, Portugal. Morocco, Portugal, Uruguay and Argentina, the next one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, travelling around those 5 venues is going to be pretty easy. 03717 223344. The government can step in for concert ticket prices, says Aaron Bateman, so why can't they do the same for World Cup tickets? The stadiums will be full of wealthy individuals and corporate guests who know nothing about the game and have no passion for either team playing. That's what worries me about this.
Yeah.
The World Cup is about fans, the colour that they bring, the pride for the country that they represent. How are those from poorer countries expected to join in? That's without the cost of travel, hotels, food, drinks, all of which come at an inflated price. And that's also assuming that Trump and his administration don't make it impossible to even enter the USA. Not sure about the laws in Canada and Mexico, but the main events will all take place in America. 03717 223344 is the number to call. We have a lot of scare stories every time a World Cup comes around, right? We've had it from Brazil to Russia to Qatar. Constantly, there's always talk about it in the build-up to these big events, and then it ends up going off without a hitch. I hope that trend continues. This is talkSPORT.
Emery's very pleased with how his Villa squad's responding to rotation. 8 changes were made for the win at Basel, which keeps Villa top of the Europa League table. Jason Cundy's astounded by their domestic form as well.
You've got to go back to the 28th of September for their first win. Since then, they now lead the Premier League on points and games played, Gemma, by 3.
Meanwhile, Scott Minto says Forest need to make the Europa League top 8 to help ease their Premier League survival push. Igor Jesus' late winner at Utrecht means Forest are 11th with 2 games to go. Wilfried Nancy's trying to stay positive after a 3-0 defeat to Roma. Nancy's the first Celtic manager to lose his opening 2 games, and chants of sack the board rang out again at Parkhead. We're told England fans will have to dip into life savings to attend the World Cup final. The cheapest ticket is over £3,000. Nick Jones from the England Supporters Travel Club told us nearly everyone in his WhatsApp group has decided not to go.
But that's not accessible to all the travel club members, so those who don't have enough points will have to pay more for.
Loads of texts and loads of calls as well. Why is everyone moaning at the prices? You have a choice. If no one was going to pay these prices, then they wouldn't see them. Watch how full the stadiums will be. It's a free market and the sales will dictate whether the public are so outraged or if they will pay it anyway. I think the concern really is as Neil said, people getting themselves into financial trouble by being so desperate to go and see this one-off event that they will dip into their life savings or they will remortgage houses or take out loans in order to do it. And I think there is a level. I think it obviously needs to be priced at a reasonable rate because it is a high ticket event, but it doesn't need to be absolutely extortionate, which it feels when you look at those prices. Ricky here, the Coventry City fan. I've been all over watching England and many friends who do the same. We all have been completely priced out of this tournament. I'm gutted at the prices, and I know the Football Supporters Association are hoping for a U-turn, but we just can't see that happening. It's agreed by FIFA, and like you have said, people with more money than sense will pay it so it looks all rosy. A load of regular England travel members I know are going to fly out to Benidorm while the tournament is on, stay in a £40 a night hotel and drink €2 San Miguel's instead. I'll just stick to following Coventry home and away now and attend the next Euros, which is hopefully going to be a lot more affordable. Well, UEFA have said they're not going to do the dynamic pricing, haven't they, for the next European Championships in England?
Yes, they have. So, we shouldn't be encountering these problems, but that doesn't make it any more palatable for England fans wanting to get out to the main event next summer, does it?
Mitch, hello.
How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. What do you want to say?
I'm actually going out to Atlanta, so I'm combining a holiday. So I'm going the week before and doing Nashville and driving up to Atlanta for the South Africa and potentially Republic of Ireland game, and then also the Spain v Cape Verde game. So people are kind of moaning, and yes, it is expensive. I took a punt that England would maybe be in Atlanta. All right, that punt didn't pay off, but I kind of bought the tickets before the draw. And then also my accommodation, I got a cracking Airbnb for five nights, literally by the fan zone in the stadium, and I thought it was good value for America. Yes, America can be pricey. I love America, but I kind of sort of took that chance.
That's all well and good, but you're just going to random games, and you booked it so early that you were able to do that. These we're talking about here is England Supporters Club travel members that have earned their caps, have been around the world picking up caps, going to all the qualifiers, with the idea being that they could then follow their team and go and watch, guaranteed to watch them in the World Cup and follow them from first game to last. That's a completely different experience, and they had to wait. They had to wait until those ticket prices came out.
Yeah, no, and I certainly wouldn't pay those prices, and I do feel for them massively. But I suppose as a football fan, I took a chance, and that didn't pay off. It could have been England, and I may have got lucky, but yeah, I was just sort of trying to sort of bring a bit of balance to it as well, So, I totally agree with what you're saying in terms of the England fans like that. Yeah, I'm a massive England fan, and I just sort of wanted to sort of say, look, you could have maybe taken a chance, and it hasn't paid off. I don't know.
Okay, Mitch, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Andy in Birmingham.
Hi guys, you all right?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. What do you want to say?
Yeah, well, I mean, so I'm an ESTC member as well. I've been for a while now, and went out to Germany.
Just explain for people what that is.
England Travel Club member. So I go all the home games. Went to a couple of away games. I went to Andorra last year as well. So got about 30 caps built up now. So I was really looking forward to going out to America. I had no plans to be out there for the whole tournament because I don't think I'd have been able to afford that. But I have booked flights for Dallas and Boston, coming back from Boston. So I'm going to spend 2 weeks out there and going to the first two group games. But I am already regretting doing that just because it's left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth now. And just thinking about, could I have actually spent that money even more wisely, like, done a better holiday or something like that, because it is a lot of money. There's no way I can afford the final at all. And I think what needs to happen is similar to, with the European Super League thing that happened and he got shot down. I think FAs globally need to get together. The English FA, Scottish, Italian, French, they all need to get together and say, look, this is not right. It's not fair. And what's annoyed me a little bit as well, I'm looking at the prices now in front of me on the laptop. The Croatia game, they've labelled it as $265 for the category 3, but for the Ghana and Panama, it's cheaper. And it's like they're almost treating it like a domestic club team, trying to make money from it as best as they can. But I don't think it should be about that for the international tournament. I think there should be a very...
if you've ever dealt with the FA, son, I'll tell you now, they won't give a damn, the FA.
No, I know.
They won't give a damn. They'll never come on here and talk this morning. I know what you're saying, Alex, about it. They're not bothered about that. They just say, it's not our fault. It's this fault.
I think. Listen, in fairness to the FA, they're not here to speak up for themselves, and they've been. They should be. They've been pretty good at dealing with the England supporters over the course of the years, especially at major tournaments. But it is to do with FIFA, this, isn't it? I mean, let's not make any bones about it. This is a FIFA decision, and this is all about trying to maximise the amount of revenue they can bring in. They've land grabbed in terms of expanding club competitions. I mean, Neil, imagine you were a manager and you had to deal with a Club World Cup as well now, and you were one of those.
I know. It's it's suicidal for the players. It catches up on you during the season when you do things like this. But they're not bothered about that. It's all about how much money they can make now. It's been coming for a couple of years now, this, I think, and this will bring it to a head. But as I've said, it just worries me about the chap you're talking to now. He can't afford it, and some people can't afford it, but they'll go into debt. And that's what worries me, the number of people that's going to go into debt.
Let's speak to England fan Rhys Sedgwick. I spoke to him earlier on today. He's followed England home and away over the course of the last campaign. He is what is classed as a top capper. Let's hear what he had to say. I started by asking him how long he'd been following England on their journey.
So over the last 5 or 6 years, I've been a member. I've been going to every game I get tickets for. I've been travelling abroad to all the countries, all the qualifiers, European qualifiers. Obviously been going to every single home game, which I've built up enough loyalty now to be able to get whichever tickets I want for the World Cup, really.
So when you saw the prices drop yesterday, what was your immediate reaction?
I was absolutely disgusted, if I'm being honest. They talk about it being the working man's game, but How can you charge a working man £3,500 for a ticket for a World Cup final?
Will it stop you from going?
Oh, 100%. I know myself and every person I've been going to for the last 4 or 5 years, we've all said we're not doing the final. No way, not at them prices.
So even if England were to get to the first World Cup final that they've got to since 1966, you wouldn't be able to fund it. Well, is it just because it's too expensive, you cannot pay for it at this moment in time, or because you out of principle, won't do it?
I'm probably fortunate enough to say I can do it, but out of principle, I think it's absolutely disgusting the prices they're charging. Actual fans that have been going for years and years and years, who go to all these qualifiers abroad when a lot of the country and a lot of people just think they're a hindrance. Oh, we don't want international break in September or in October or November. And they say, oh, international break's a waste of time. Nobody's bothered. But the fans that go all the time are bothered. And we've built up enough loyalty now. We've been for that long. We should be able to afford to go to the final and experience it. Instead, they're going to be charging $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a ticket, and it'll just be sold out with corporates and people who can afford to go, who have never been. The atmosphere will be terrible, and I hope it all comes crashing down on them, to be honest.
The FSE have said that FIFA should stop selling tickets immediately, and there should be a complete renegotiation of the way that tickets are being sold at this World Cup. Do you encourage England fans to boycott those matches at the World Cup and not buy tickets?
I would say England fans are entitled to do what they want. It's been a long time since we've got to a final, so if we got that, I wouldn't discourage it. But I know personally, I will not be paying them prices. I think it's an absolute disgrace. I think the FA should do more. The FA could not come out and stuck up for the fans one bit. They could easily come out and say to FIFA, the way you're treating our fans and the prices you charge is an absolute disgrace. But they're not going to do that because they're going to be profiting off this with FIFA.
Those are the views of Reece Sedgwick, who is an England fan. He follows them home and away. He said to me earlier, and he's got 62 caps, which is the maximum you can have at this stage. Sam, the FA should have bought all the England tickets and offered them to the fans that follow England everywhere on a pay monthly scheme. We talked about this a little bit last week, actually, and the idea, I mean, we don't know if that was possible. And it might be something, if we get to speak to the FA, that we will ask them if there is a way of doing something like that, because actually that would make it a little bit more palatable.
Those are the people, Sam, aren't they? The ones that have been like 20 games, 30, 40, 50,
Absolutely.
60 games. They're the people that should have the tickets, aren't they?
Well, they're the people that you want in the stadium.
Yeah.
As a manager and as a footballer, the people that you recognise when you go home and away every single week, and you see them when you go over in Albania and clap them away. Yeah. You want those people to be rewarded for the loyalty and the support they've given you.
You do, right? It's such a sad morning, I think, this for football in general, not just us. Football in general.
It's a gateway.
Yeah.
It's a gateway to other things following suit and being in the same situation going forward. Thank you very much for your calls. 03717 2233 44. We spent a lot of time on that this morning, and quite rightly so. And I know that a lot of you absolutely furious this morning. And we'll continue to follow the story, campaign on your behalf as well over the course of the next few months. This is talkSPORT. Right, next up, we're going to be talking Mo Salah. Hello, good morning. It is talkSPORT. It's Sam Matterface, and today I'm lucky enough to have Alex Crook with me in the studio. I know it hasn't happened very often in the last couple of weeks, but he is here in person, and he was so happy to see me earlier on. He gave me a hug when I walked in, didn't
It's
you?
more the other way around.
Was it?
I accepted a hug.
You accepted?
And you bought me a coffee. And you just bought me another one, haven't you?
I wasn't going to buy him a coffee. Did you not get him one, did you? He said he was not going to buy you lot a coffee, so I wasn't going to get him one. And then I had to pay for it because he's being too tight today. Anyway, and Neil Warnock is here as well. He hasn't hugged anyone from what I can remember so far. Hey, we still got an hour and 15 to go, Neil.
Thank you.
And he's very good at putting his arm around the shoulder of a player and getting the best out of them, which is something that maybe Arne Slot needs to do. This is what he said this morning when he's been talking about Mo Salah.
I will have a conversation with Mo this morning, and the outcome of that conversation determines how it will look tomorrow. What I need is a conversation with him, and I think the next time I speak about Mo should be with him and not in here. But yeah, you can keep on trying, but there's not much more to say about it that I speak to him today. And like I said, the outcome of that conversation determines how things will look tomorrow.
The game against Inter Milan was on Tuesday night, Neil. We know that Mo Salah has been at Liverpool all week because he's been posting pictures of himself in the gym all week. So are you surprised that it's Friday and they haven't had a conversation?
I think that the manager made a mistake in the first place. I think he should have sussed this out. That Salah was on the bench for a couple of games, wasn't he, before last week? So it must have been bubbling up. You know, you don't keep a lad like Salah that won him absolutely everything last year. You don't keep him on the bench without telling him why and you're coming back. If you want him, you don't put him out to pasture or put him in a situation where the agent, I'm sure the agent then will have got on board, Mo, he's not spoke to you for 2 games, you're not playing and blah, blah, blah. You've got to go to the press and, he doesn't go to the press, Mo. He doesn't deliberately walk down the tunnel and then make sure the press speak to him. All of a sudden he does that. The week before he goes to Egypt, it's just too much for me, this.
Do you think there's more to it? Because the general consensus of opinion is that Mo Salah only ever talks to people in the mix zone or to journalists when he wants to force something to happen, like he did with the contract last time, like he's done this time around. And most people's view is that this is a big miscalculation and that everybody's come down on the side of Arne Slot here. And you're not of that thinking?
I don't think it's just Arne Slot. I think I feel sorry for Mo as well, because what he did for Liverpool last year, I thought was unbelievable. And he's going to taint it all now. They're going to say that he's finishing on a low and he's done this, that and the other.
That's his fault, though, isn't it?
It's his fault, but 3 games, they both should have got together. It's not just, he shouldn't have had a time to come out, but he should have stopped it straight away before it got to the agent. I'm sure the agent got into Mo about you should be doing this, should be doing that, and so he should have stopped that conversation happening. But it doesn't sound Sam like he's had a chat with him for the 2 games that he's left him out.
So are you suggesting then that either that is negligent on Slot's part, or is it more wider than that? And is there a bigger thing at play here, and that actually they're quite happy for Mo Salah to agitate to leave?
Well, I think now, I think because he didn't go in and speak to him after 2 games and left him rotting in there, it's obviously they'd not spoken. I think that's driven it on me. Almost like, well, Liverpool, is it time to get some money for him? Is it time to get a good transfer fee now? This is an ideal opportunity. Everybody will blame Mo. We'll come out of it smelling of roses. I think the manager's wrong for not talking to him a lot more if he does want him.
The thing is that they lost 3 games in a row before they dropped him, and then they haven't lost since. So there's some justification for what Arne Slot has done.
Yeah, and I think there has to be some individual responsibility here from Mo Salah, because yes, he was brilliant last season, but what was the motivation? Was it because he'd fallen out with Jurgen Klopp by the time he left the football club and he wanted to prove a point? Was it because he was playing for a big money new contract that he got? Why is his form towered off a cliff so spectacularly? And does he look at himself in the mirror and genuinely believe that based on what he's done previously, which is what he came out and said, he's got a God-given right to be in this Liverpool team? I couldn't disagree with you more, Neil, I've been honest. I'm firmly in the Arne Slot corner. I think Mo Salah had become a passenger. I said on this show a couple of weeks ago, for me, when you look at the individuals, he was the biggest single reason that...
But you look at the players, you look at the players that's left as well. When you play in a wide position like him, you do rely on a lot of other players to give you the ball in the right areas. They haven't had that this year. They've not had the ball in the right areas. They've been so bad at the back that they've not had a chance to go forward.
Has he done his defensive duty? He didn't need to worry too much about that last season when they were dominating games.
He never does his defensive duty, though. That's not.
He's never ever done it in his career.
But they're struggling for points, so surely needs must, and you get players in there who are going to dig in and get you out of trouble.
I think you need defenders that can defend first, mate, and you stop the goals going in. That's why they've had 2 games now where they've done well. They've stopped the goals going in, so good luck to him. But I still think
he has tainted his legacy.
I still think he could have sorted it out better than what he's done.
But he wasn't the one who put it in the public domain. It was Mo Salah.
But
he did, but he felt he had to do at that stage. It's 3 games. He didn't have, obviously,
only 3 games.
Yeah, but he'd not spoken to him, had he?
It never happened to him before in his career, I suppose.
He should have spoken to him before that happened and stopped that off.
Okay.
And now it's both.
Well, we've got a situation that obviously needs to be touched on as well, and that is that both Arne Slot and Mo Salah in particular have been affected by the passing of Diogo Jota, and the whole dressing room has had to deal with that tragedy. You had an awful experience yourself of being in a dressing room when you were the manager of Cardiff. He hadn't actually signed at the time yet, Emiliano Sala. He was on his way to signing, but he had been to the ground, hadn't he? And he'd met the other lads in the dressing room. You'd done a lot of dealings with him as well.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of sort of an effect that happened to Cardiff as a result of his tragic passing.
You can't really put it into words. I know it's just a player, and yes, he's not there anymore. But you have to be present when something like that happens. I don't think to everybody, but I think the people that were really close to Jota, I think the effect that it would have had on them, people can't, honestly, you can't describe it. I've never experienced anything in 45 years in management, never experienced anything like it, and I wouldn't want to do it again either. So some of those players, I would think it'll take a good season to get over some of that. Some of them. I'm not saying everybody, but the ones that were really close to him.
Salah was close to him, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's such a... You can't explain it.
And do you have to factor that in, even in this assessing this situation? Because no one, obviously, is coming out of it looking brilliant at the moment. But actually, do we have to factor in that this might be a contributing factor?
I don't think you can deny that it could be. But I think there's so many other things as well in that respect. So it's no good just saying that is the reason.
Not the reason, but it's got to be.
But it is a big.
Got to bear it in mind.
Sam, honestly, it's not just a matter of saying that this happened and then he's not here. It went on for months and months and months. Honestly, it went on for months. We were in grieving. I mean, the Bluebirds, the Cardiff fans, were absolutely unbelievable. I've got goose pimples now talking about it, and they were unbelievable for the rest of the season, and the effect on some of the lads, 1 or 2 of the lads, I saw 1 or 2 of the lads, and they needed help. They needed help talking to, and I tried to do what I've done all my career in trying to give them the right advice, but even I needed help. Even I needed help to come over that. So. And I'm the one giving them the advice. Yeah. You can't really describe it. It's an element that I think you can't just put under the carpet. But listen, that's not everything, is it? That's not the reason. I'm sure that Mo could have done more. I'm sure that Slot could have done more. I think it's just the making that it is, and whether the club now are thinking, we've got a good chance of getting a good fee. We don't need Mo now with the way we're playing. Then, let's get him off. I just thought it was wrong of Mo to come out a week before he went to Egypt with such a load of rubbish, what he come out with, which didn't come out of his mouth. There's no way that come out of his mouth. That's put into his mouth.
Badly advised.
That didn't come out of Mo's mouth, because Mo loves Liverpool.
Yeah.
He loves Liverpool. He wouldn't say that. So there's a lot of things for me.
Just on what he said this morning, though, Arne Slot, I thought it was quite clever, because by saying I'm going to speak to Mo later today and then I'll make a decision, he shut down any follow-up questions from the media.
Yeah.
But what it also tells me is, if he hasn't spoken to him since last weekend to now, the day before a game, Mo Salah's not going to feature, is he?
Well, he's
not going to play.
That's the first thing I said to you. The Inter Milan game was Tuesday night. They've all been back in the building for 3 days. Why has the conversation not taken place yet? It's Friday. They play at the weekend against Brighton. We'll keep you updated with that over the course of the weekend, but it doesn't look like there's much movement there. It'll be fascinating to see what happens when that team drops at around about 1:45 tomorrow. This is talkSPORT. It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Neil Warnock. We're here right the way through to 1. Kevin Phillips coming on the show in the next hour of the programme to preview the big Weird Time derby, Sunderland against Newcastle, which kicks off at 2 o'clock.
talkSPORT Sports Update powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines, at 3 minutes past 12, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good afternoon. Mo Salah is being spoken to over his future at Liverpool. Arne Slot says he has no reason to not want Salah to stay.
The next time I speak about Mo should be with him and not in here. But yeah, you can keep on trying, but there's not much more to say about it.
Salah had suggested Brighton's visit to Anfield tomorrow could be his last game for Liverpool. Meanwhile, Fabian Hertzler says recalling Evan Ferguson from his loan at Roma is an option for Brighton. Arsenal are not thinking of selling Gabriel Jesus now he's fit again. Mikel Arteta says Jesus is now pushing to start ahead of Gyökeres. No news though on Saliba's fitness. Arsenal versus Wolves is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Alan Brazil's wondering why Celtic didn't hold on to Martin O'Neill for the rest of the season. That's after Wilfred Nancy became the first Celtic boss to lose his opening 2 matches.
They change it after one game, they change the formation, we get beat, and then we get absolutely smashed by Roma at Parkhead. And there's a cup final coming up the weekend. If they lose that, imagine this guy, he's going, what have I done?
Martin O'Neill is back on White and Jordan on Monday. Now, would you pay £35 a minute to be at the World Cup final? Thomas Concannon from the Football Supporters Association says £3,000 is disappointing.
It won't be like previous World Cups where England fans were travelling in the thousands, as they should, to Mexico, America and Canada. You know, 3 great countries that we have great relationships with. We could have had a fantastic time, but you'll just see a lot more people will just stay at home and watch it in the pubs.
To F1, where Mohammed Ben Sulayem has been re-elected as president of the FIA for a second term till 2029. And at 43 years old, Jimmy Anderson's been named as Lancashire's captain for next season's county championship.
talkSPORT News.
England's resident doctors are urged to call off next week's strike with a warning it could be the Jenga piece that collapses the NHS. And for the second month running, the UK economy shrank 0.1%. There's more from the news team in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. For a limited time only, get 15% off a set of 4 selected premium tyres. Don't miss out and book today at quickfit.com and drive away happy every time. Conditions apply.
Rain around in the southeast where it's milder. Elsewhere more settled but colder with sunny spells. The northwest, blustery showers.
Hello everyone, it is Friday afternoon, it's Sam Matterface and the Crookmeister is here. And what you got this week, Crookmeister? What are you doing tomorrow?
I'm at Chelsea tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Should be an interesting game.
Oh, a bit nervous about that one.
And then we're at Brentford on Sunday, and then we're both at Palace next Thursday, aren't we, for Palace's under-15s against Scoop, is it?
Coops. Close.
Could be a scoop.
It could be. I'm going to Newcastle on Wednesday night as well, and Manchester United on Monday night as well, because Monday Night Football, Manchester United against Bournemouth live on talkSPORT. Looking forward to that. Before all that, you and I will be presenting Game Day Live on Sunday afternoon from 1:30 as we take you around the grounds every Sunday. Four Premier League games on Sunday, and of course the Time Weird Derby as well. What a fascinating Time Weird Derby it is. I mean, Neil, you've played in a lot of derbies. You've been manager for a lot of derbies. You've seen Cardiff-Swansea was quite a furious little derby, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know from the week beforehand that you dare not lose these games.
Do you know, I used to laugh when I listened to managers' press conference and saying, it's just another game. I thought, they haven't got a clue, have they? I mean, Sunderland, Newcastle, wow. I mean, Sunderland's one of the clubs I wish I'd have managed. You know, I had a chance to manage them and all. When I look at the passion that they've got up there, I think the first 20 minutes will decide it, me. I think Sunderland will win it. Or if Newcastle can be all right for 20 minutes, they have got good players, probably better players slightly. But the atmosphere, the crowd, they're worth more than a player. And if they can get on top, you know, they've all really gone. I never thought the kid they signed, how do you say it, Xhaka? What's his name in midfield for Sunderland?
Granit Xhaka.
I think, I mean, he's been a revelation, hasn't he?
Yep.
And I doubted whether he could come here and do what he's done, but he's been fantastic.
Well, you say that the crowd is sometimes worth more than a single player. I'm not necessarily sure that holds with our next guest, because he scored 30 goals in the Premier League in 1999-2000 for Sunderland, including, during the course of that campaign, a winner in a game against Newcastle United. Legendary Sunderland striker Kevin Phillips joins us on the show. Hello, Kevin.
How you doing, chaps? Okay.
Great to have you on the programme. What
you.
a match this is. I mean, Sunderland in great form at home, haven't lost yet, take on a Newcastle United side that are actually playing okay and looking to make it unbeaten in 5 in the Premier League. What a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, it's certainly one that the North East are looking forward to. I've been up here now for the last 10 days, and the fans, that's all they've been talking about. It's a unique match, and you know, when you look at the two sides, as you rightly say, you know, Sunderland unbeaten at home are fantastic. The atmosphere at the stadium are like this year. I thought I'd heard it all before. I never thought it could get any louder, but since I've been going this season, they've taken it up another notch. So Sunday is going to be intense, but an atmosphere I think that the players will thrive on. So, you know, it's a debate, isn't it, whether you'd want to be in form going into a derby, huge derby. I think sometimes the form goes out the window. It's about who performs on the day. You know, who doesn't freeze, who plays their own game. So, you know, I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. You know, Newcastle conceding late the other night, their long travels, maybe Sunderland could take advantage of that. But certainly at home this season, they've been unreal. And what Neil Warnock just said there about Xhaka, he's been incredible on and off the pitch. He's set standards in and around the training ground that the club haven't been used to, and you can see it on the pitch as well.
You know, that's going out of fashion, Kevin, isn't it? You know, those type of players, they do the manager's job for them, don't they, when things aren't going well? Yeah. And same with centre-halves. I love Dan Ballard. I think the Sunderland of all... they shocked me. I thought they'd be relegated without a shadow of a doubt before a ball was kicked. And the way they've gone about the business and the way they play, it's not just a bit of luck. This is no. When I say about the dressing rooms, Kev, I look at that dressing room and I think, wow, I'd love to manage them, because they go.
Well, you wouldn't,
would you?
Yeah.
They're going to
it's
war.
one of those, like, Yeah, as being a manager, you don't, you want to be able to concentrate on your job and not worry about the dressing room. And when you've got players like Xhaka that are controlling it, I can't imagine he goes to the manager with any issues because he'll deal with it himself. But I think everyone, from the outside is always waiting for they're thinking that the bubble's going to burst. And if I'm being honest, myself was thinking at some point it might, but I can't see it. I know they lost at City at the weekend, but that, it's almost like a free hit. But it's such an important game Sunday now that they don't get beat, because if you go back-to-back defeats, losing against your rivals, then all of a sudden has that bubble burst. So I don't see it. I've seen them quite a few times live this season, and they're a good side, and they've got good players.
Kev, do you see any similarities with your first season in the Premier League back in 1999-2000? Because a lot of pundits were writing Sunderland off as relegation fodder. I think Rodney Marsh, working on TV, then questioned your ability to step up into the Premier League. And you ended up finishing seventh. So there are comparisons, aren't there, with that team and what Sunderland have done so far?
I'm not sure there's a striker who'll get 30 in the team. I'd like to see it, or would I? But no, I do. I get asked that question all the time. I do. Xhaka's almost like how Kevin Ball, who we had at the time, was Captain Marvel, organiser, tough guy. So there is similarities. Of course, the way they're performing, I think, a lot of teams early on in the season underestimated them, maybe took them for granted. But now, teams are certainly not doing that now. They're giving them respect. And, I was in the crowd up at Anfield last week with the away fans, and to watch them away at Anfield perform the way they did, it just shows you how far they've come. And, they've got good players, just like we did in 99-2000. They've got creative players, but they've got what they have done. And I think Reggie Libri, takes a lot of credit for. They went out, they identified the right types of players, and they started from the back. And I think bringing Roos in was a huge sign. He's been excellent. Ballard's come in, Mukiele's come in, Alboretto's been excellent. So I think defensively, they look really, really solid. Going forward, they've got creativity. If I had a slight question mark, it would be, where's that goal scorer going to come from that's going to get you, 15, 20 goals in the Premier League, which we all know is really, really difficult. But no, they're doing exceptionally well.
Just talk to me about that moment that you scored the winner back in 1999, because if you look at the pictures, the glee on your face, it sort of tells a thousand words. Just explain to us what it was like before, during and after that moment.
It's incredible. I look at the game at the weekend. I just feel I want someone to be that hero. Scoring the winner in a North East derby, you become legendary status straight away. And that night was unique because the weather was horrendous. The Newcastle were trying to get the game called off late on. So it was incredible. And to get the winning goal, something that hadn't won at St James's for many, many years. And I think I'd scored 60 goals going into that game, and people were saying you're a legend, but I just felt until you score that winning goal in a North East derby, you don't become, you're not a legend. So, I remember it clearly. I missed the first chance, and I just remember I was running towards the border corner 6-yard box, and I could see Big Quinny with his arm in the air thinking pass to me, and I'm selfish striker, no chance. I'm going for goal, and to see it hit the back of the net, and then, as Neil will tell you, all strikers are selfish, and I'm dying for the whistle to finish because I wanted to be the one that scored the winning goal. And when that final whistle went, it was silence in the ground because our supporters were way up in the gods, and you couldn't hear them. So, it was a great night for the fans, but personally, it was a huge occasion and one that obviously I'll remember forever.
And is this one of those games where it's a cliche to say don't play the occasion, play the game? But actually, you flip that around here, and you do play the occasion.
You do.
Because you use the adrenaline from those supporters, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You have to, and it's hard not to because the noise. When they sing that Wise Men Sing at the beginning, it's it gets the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. But I think Xhaka. Again, I talk about him a lot, but he's a senior player. He's the one that's got to calm the players down. The last thing we want, is someone to go out there first 2 minutes, get sent off, for something the crowd have got you going. Just, of course, you want to make that first tackle and make it a tough one to let them know that they're in for a game. But you're right, it's hard not to play the occasion because of the noise. From Newcastle's point of view, if you're a manager, you just try and keep the ball early, quieten the crowd down, and play your way into the game. But some of them will come out the blocks. The fans demand that. I just hope they do it with a clear head.
Along with Sunderland and Arsenal, the only other team that are unbeaten in the Premier League at home this season. They've got more points at the Stadium of Light this term than they managed in the whole of their last campaign in the top flight. Who do you credit with the success that they have had over the course of the last year and a half?
Well, I think the manager, deserves huge credit. Purely, he was brought to the football club and, no one had heard of him. I hadn't heard of him. So the fans weren't too pleased because they wanted a name, named in charge of their football club. But, what he's done and the way he's turned it around and got the best out of these players and certainly the young players last season. Listen, no one expected Sunderland to get promoted last season. I didn't. And, it was incredible to see them go up. But then to not rest on their laurels, Speakman, the owner, the people behind the scenes have recruited unbelievably. They've got a great recruitment department. So I think, as a collective, the whole club deserved the credit. But I think the owner for spending the money in the summer, was it 170 odd million pound? Is respect to him.
Kev, it's all right having money, but you've got to spend it right. When you look at some of the top clubs, the recruitment's been a disgrace.
The recruitment here has
you
been
look
brilliant.
at so many different clubs at the top, and the recruitment, wow. But you look at Sunderland, I can't see a bad signing. I can't see a bad signing. I think the money's been so well spent, and he goes about his job, the way he is. I've been really, really impressed with him, and it is great.
He's been excellent.
It is great to get that crowd in it.
Yeah, what I like about him as well, he doesn't jump around. He's not a shouter and baller.
Nothing wrong with that, Kev. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I know that, mate. I know that, but it's just, it'd be interesting to see whether he jumps around on Sunday.
Yeah. Will he do a Canio knee slide, do you think?
Correct, yeah. I can't see that happening.
No,
I think, huge credit to the board, and obviously when Dave Jones was there, obviously the Sky, huge Sunderland fan. When he was working at the club, he had a lot to do with bringing Reggie in. So credit to him, and they're doing a fantastic job. And let's pray that bubble doesn't burst. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, Peter Reid was a shy, retiring type on the touchline as well, wasn't he? If I remember rightly.
And on a night out, yeah.
He still is.
Yeah.
Kev,
we can't keep up with him. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely, damn true. Thank you very much, Kev. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
cheers, gents.
Fantastic
Have
stuff.
A good show.
Good to
That
talk
is
to him.
the wonderful Kevin Phillips. What an absolute legend he is.
He was a great,
goal scorers, unbelievable.
For a manager, he was what epitomises everything about it. We talk about people that do jobs for the managers. You knew what he was doing. He was a 9 out of 10 every week. He never, whereas a lot of players are 7s and 6s, he was always a 9.
Do you know what's amazing? Do you know it's amazing that England had such a raft of strikers they probably didn't. He probably didn't get enough.
What about Crook? What about Crookie? All the homework he must have done about finding out about 1999.
It's amazing how he did that.
You're fantastic,
It's because you and me have done all the work.
I know.
You just sat there and Googled it once.
Hey, I remember that season.
Don't give us all that. You've got a laptop right in front of you, and we've seen you on the little telly going like this just before.
Me crooked, huh?
Yeah, very good. This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface and Alex Crook. We're with Neil Warnock right the way through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. Silco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at silcobw.com.
welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Step up to the Oki and win the ultimate VIP darts experience on talkSPORT.
The PDC World Darts Championships now underway. The boys just been talking about what they're going to drink when they go there. talkSPORT and Pitch Experiences are giving you the chance to be there. The event of the year on the 23rd of December. You and 3 mates could be living it large with platinum seats, fine dining, and a complimentary bar, and exclusive access to the 501 Lounge with Russ, the voice, spray. Then it's straight to your Prime Arena table for the best view of the house. Get ready for an unforgettable Ali Pally Christmas. Here's how to enter. You just text DARTS to 83338. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 03434217508. Lines close at 4 o'clock on the 18th of December, and that's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. It's 18 plus, UK residents only. So if you want to win, pretty simple. Pick up your mobile phone right now and put the word DARTS, text DARTS to 83338 right now. As a network promotion, full T's and C's are available at talksport.com.
I'm debating going along to the darts on Tuesday, actually.
Are you?
Yeah, I've never been to the World Championship.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's a difficult time of year for us, isn't it? Because there's so many games, so many shows we're doing. I've got a window on Tuesday.
If I looked like you two, a bit rugged and a bit ugly, I'd go down to darts. Nobody bother me because I'm so good looking. I can't go to darts.
Wear a baseball cap. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Me and Piercy were thinking of going, but we were going to go in fancy dress. We're going to go.
I thought you always come out in fancy dress.
Can we have people ringing in with what you should wear?
Yeah,
we should wear.
What
we
you
should do
should
like
wear.
a poll. What we should wear. We could go as a Super Mario Bros. We could go as Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger from Twins. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
that might work. What would Neil be?
Be careful what you say now. Let's move on now. Come on.
Aston Villa, winners last night, and big fixture this weekend as well, as they take on West Ham United away from home on Sunday. Villa on the longest winning run since 1914. Was this victory all the more impressive because it followed that draining but euphoric win over Arsenal, Crook?
Yeah, and he made 8 changes as well. It wasn't overly convincing. They started very well, got the early goal from Gesson, who didn't do too much else in the match, it has to be said. But then they sort of surrendered initiative, and Basel had opportunities, deservedly got back on level terms. He made a change at half-time with Emery, and this is where he's so good tactically. Bogard was floundering a bit in midfield, so he moved him to right back, took off Matty Cash, who'd been booked. On comes Tillemans, and within 6 or 7 minutes, he's got the winning goal. Again, then Basel had opportunities, came on strong towards the end. But I think in the circumstances, Unai Emery will be delighted. The one player who disappointed for me was Jadon Sancho. He's only made 7 sub-appearances in the Premier League. He got a starting chance last night. He didn't take it. And you do wonder, I know you're raising your eyebrows, but you do wonder where his career is going to go from here.
Yeah, I know he's one of your faves. Is it ludicrous to call them title contenders, Neil, because they've won 8 in a row, because they've beaten Arsenal, because they're 3 points off the top going into Christmas?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because I don't think they're good enough.
Why?
I think they're a good. I think he's a great manager. I think he's done a great. I felt really pleased for him when they beat Arsenal after the way he was at Arsenal. But I just don't think they've got the squad. I look at the top two. Arsenal have got they've got Jesus coming back as well, and Man City. I love Man City. I think the way he's changed the whole club around in the last 12 months. People don't know he's done a whole new build-up job as Pep, and he's getting the fruition there, the fruit of whatever all his hard work now. So I think those two are still a little bit better than Villa. But Villa, they're the team. When you look at the table, you can't do any more than what they've done, can they?
But does it impress you that I think it's the third straight game now that a substitute has come off the bench and won them the game?
Well, as a manager, you absolutely love that. But these teams, they've all got good players to come off the bench, haven't they? You look at some of the subs that they've got, and that's what you want as a manager. People say, well, why ain't he playing? But then you put him on and he wants to show the manager that he should have been playing. So these lads, it's a good sign when your subs come on and win it, because you can't win anything with 11 players. You've got to have a really good squad, and I think the top two that I mentioned, I think the squad is really, Arsenal in particular, never been better now than what it is at the minute, and that's why all the reason why Man City are doing a job. And Villa, if you'd have said to Villa, you'll finish third in the league the start of the season, people would have thought you'd have gone round the bend.
However, if they get a transfer window that they had last year in January, they'll feel as if they can start challenging for top honours, possibly because they brought in Rashford, Asensio, Marlon last year. Have they got the resources to go again in this?
Sam, can I just say that first? I know, sorry, Crook. But like when you say about that, sometimes when you bring players in, look at Liverpool. I thought Liverpool last year when they won it like they did, and then they go and sign it, the striker. I'm thinking, and the money that they spent, 400 million, I'm thinking, well, there's nobody going to be near them. So money don't always win you things. It sometimes disturbs the dressing room. Yeah. You can't get any better than winning 8 out of 8, can you?
No, and actually, if you look at their summer transfer window, I've just mentioned him already, Jadon Sancho is struggling to get much game time in the Premier League. Harvey Elliott isn't going to play for them again, seemingly. I think Emery's made that pretty clear in the build-up to this game.
I feel sorry for him.
Which is bizarre, because it looked a good signing. It looked a great move for all concerned, but it's not worked out. No, you're not a big fan of Guessons. They didn't have a great summer transfer window, so I think it will be important in January to try and bring in reinforcements. But with the squad depth, it might come to the crunch in the second half of the season where Emery's got a decision to make. Are we realistic title contenders, or is our best hope of silverware the Europa League? He's taken part in 5 full seasons in Europa League. He's won it 4 times. He was runner-up to Chelsea. What
was the score there?
Debacle. It was 4-0.
What was it, debacle?
From an Arsenal perspective.
Oh, yes, it was, yeah.
But you look at the Europa League now.
Eden Hazard was not a debacle. He was a miracle that day.
No, but that was probably the low point of Unai Emery's career in England. But you look at the Europa League table, Villa are third. There's not much to scare them, I think they're favourites.
And he does love that.
He does.
Nothing like winning, is there? Ask Ange.
Well, I want to ask Neil another question, but I'm being told off by the referee.
Oh, no.
Has he got his yellow cards out?
He's got his yellow cards out, the red one sort of poking out the top of his top pocket. He's like, we got to go. But I will ask you this question when you come back, right? Why is it that he is determined to play it down? Why is he turning around and saying, I don't want to talk about the title. I don't want to talk about it. We'll do that next.
Unai Emery's very pleased with how his Villa squad's responding to rotation. 8 changes were made for the win at Basel, which keeps Villa top of the Europa League table. Jason Cundy's astounded by their domestic form as well.
You've got to go back to the 28th of September for their first win. Since then, they now lead the Premier League on points and games played, Gemma, by 3.
Meanwhile, Scott Minto says Forest need to make the Europa League top 8 to help ease their Premier League survival push. Igor Jesus' late winner at Utrecht means Forest are 11th with 2 games to go. Wilfried Nancy's trying to stay positive after a 3-0 defeat to Roma. Nancy's the first Celtic manager to lose his opening 2 games, and chants of sack the board rang out again at Parkhead. We're told England fans will have to dip into life savings to attend the World Cup final. The cheapest ticket is over £3,000. Nick Jones from the England Supporters Travel Club told us nearly everyone in his WhatsApp group has decided not to go.
That's not accessible to all the travel club members, so those who don't have enough points will have to pay more for.
This is talkSPORT. Neil Warnock is in the studio. Crookie's decided to go off and do something else because, it's Friday.
That's what he does.
That's what he does. It's Crook, isn't it? He does what he likes. Yeah. Just does what he likes. Oh, welcome back, mate.
Yeah. Come when you want.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. I was going to ask you this question. Why does Unai Emery keep playing down the idea of being in the title race? Is it because he knows, a bit like what you said, that they're not really in that place?
Yeah, and also I think he likes the title of underdog. I think he wants to be the underdog. I think it drives him on. He'll not be saying that to the lads. He'll be saying to the lads, we can keep this up. We can give them a right run for the money, these 2 teams. But I think deep down, he's only got to say it because everybody thinks that. I think that. Most people in the country will think that. So why not?
Can I ask you what you think about the state of the Premier League? Because we've talked about this a lot in terms of the competitiveness of it, because there's a few managers, and I know of another manager who's told his players, this is a real opportunity for you this season. You haven't started particularly well, but you look at the table and there's every chance that you can get into Europe this year. Do not waste this opportunity, because if you look at the table as it is, from 4th place Crystal Palace down to Newcastle in 12th, right, that's a huge number of teams. There's just 4 points between them.
I know it is. I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it, for the ordinary supporter? Because usually you've got 4 teams at the top and nobody near them. So I think it's great. I think it's great for these other teams. I'm disappointed and a little bit sorry that Bournemouth have dropped down because they started really well, didn't they? And I thought, I like the striker. He'll probably go in January, won't he? Semenyo, I think he'll probably go.
You know what, though? His form's tailed off a bit.
I know.
Since we broke the story about this release clause.
Yeah, I know.
His numbers have dried up in terms of goals and assists. And I do
he would have
wonder,
had a goal the other day against Chelsea if it hadn't been chalked off, though.
Yeah, very true. But I just wonder, and you'll have been here, Neil, when a player is sought after, and obviously his agent will be aware of the calibre of club who maybe want to sign him in January. Is he trying too hard, Semenyo? Is he not doing what comes naturally because he's maybe trying to force himself?
I think he'll know his way. Really, probably know his way. And Bournemouth will sell him if he's got that clause in his contract, won't they? Because there's not many strikers, You can't think of many strikers at Premier League level now.
Well, even if you've got them, they're not necessarily always scoring goals, which is another issue. I mean, even the ones that are established. You look
That's
at
the problem with Bournemouth as well. Evan Nielsen doesn't score enough goals, does he?
You look at Ollie Watkins, he's not scoring anywhere near the number of goals that he was beforehand. I just wonder whether or not, even with Aston Villa, we were talking about it earlier, they haven't really hit top gear yet. They're still there's a couple of games where you're thinking to themselves, well, they can go a little bit further, they can create more chances. They're not taking some of those chances. So, why do you think that is with the strikers? Do you think it's because the quality of defending is higher? Do you think that they're not getting the service because players are trying to do too much in the wide areas or just behind them? I
just don't think they're around strikers. I think to get strikers in now, you can't look around Europe and think of 3 or 4. I mean, you've got two, maybe 3 at the most, and most clubs can't afford them. They're out of sight. So it's hard. You can't just go scouting now and pick up a striker, can you?
But even when we have seen 2 or 3 in Europe, so let's just say last year everyone was going, well, Gyökeres is available. Where's he going to go? Oh, Benjamin Šeško, where's he going to go? And they end up moving on into the Premier League. Neither of them really have sort of caught fire in the Premier League.
I mean, I didn't think, in fairness to him, he's done better than what I thought at Arsenal. Because when he was at Coventry, I didn't think he was Premiership, if I'm honest. But I do think he gives them something that they hadn't got. He can hold the ball up. He can bring other people. So if Saka and all the others are scoring goals, then he's worth his money. He don't have to score goals doing the job he does, because they never had a man like that.
Is that it? Is that the difference now, though? Is that actually strikers don't have to score goals? In Kevin Phillips' day, we had him on. He scored 30 goals in a season.
Yeah.
Now, the goals come from other places as well. The responsibility isn't so much on one person's shoulders.
Well, it isn't, but when you look at Haaland at Man City, I mean, that's a different
That's
ball
the exception
game,
that proves the rule.
I mean, but the thing I like about Haaland is, not just does he score goals, this year, he's been working harder than I've ever seen him work.
Is that your team talk that you get them?
I think so, yeah. I said to him, will you pull your finger out and start working a bit harder? So it might have gone home. You never know.
Do you know the one that I'm surprised nobody went for? Because the jury for me is still out on Gyökeres. He's got some goals, but they've not been in the big games. I'm not sure about Šeško as yet. Victor Osimhen, 37 goals in 41 games last year on loan at Galatasaray. He's got 11 in 15 this season. He looks ready-made for the Premier League. I'm surprised nobody went for him.
Yeah, why is that?
Well,
sorry, Alex, I've never heard of him.
Is it a character issue?
I don't know. He looks at everything, doesn't
he ripped apart Tottenham in a game I did in Istanbul last year.
That's when they could have scored 27.
Yeah, I think he could have scored 28 of them.
Could have.
He was absolutely running riot that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why those moves haven't happened. I don't know whether or not it's because of the money.
He's only 26.
He's on a lot of money. Or whether or not it's to do with something else, or whether it doesn't fit into the team sort of profiles of people that might want him. I'm not sure. But it was very, very odd that the move that he made after being touted around as someone who's going to play at one of the massive clubs ended out in Turkish football. Now, listen, Turkish football, great place to go. We went out to Istanbul.
Yeah, we had a great time on the speedboat with the whole city.
We don't want to know. We don't want to know about that. All right, move on.
So we can understand the lifestyle choice. I've got to be honest. It was pretty impressive. That is for sure. Just a quick word on Oliver Glasner, because you've been a Crystal Palace manager. I suppose you probably never felt when you were in charge of Crystal Palace that they would be playing in European competition and winning the FA Cup. It was a slightly different club.
It was a slightly different, but he's still got the same problems as I had and every manager. It's hard to sign players at Palace. I know Dougie Freedman did a good job in bringing players in, but it's so hard. I mean, I tried for about 6 weeks to get players in and couldn't get any players in.
Why is that? Did the ownership not give you the money?
No, they won't. And I don't see him bending over backwards to keep him. I think
they're sort of almost saying that they're almost sort of saying that he's probably going to go. He'll do with the best decision.
Yeah, they'll be looking around now for the next manager, and they have done well. They have done well, but they're going to lose the best centre half in the country in the summer. And if they lose the manager, people think they can just replace that easily, and it'll be the same. But they've got to be careful, sometimes, because the manager's so impressive, and it doesn't look as though he's loved. I know it sounds silly that. It doesn't look as though he's loved.
Are they being pragmatic in the fact that they're of the opinion that probably he's going to want to move on anyway, and they don't want to break the bank to try and keep him because they're Crystal Palace, they know where they are in the food chain, and they're quite happy to keep within a budget and be pretty sensible about it.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there for me. I don't think they'll be prepared to pay him what he's worth. And I think he will have had enough of trying to fight to get every player in. I think he did well to keep the centre half in the window. But I think it's a battle every time to get people in, and I think he's had enough. Really, I think he's going to try and get them as high as he can, and they could quite easily finish in the top 4, couldn't they? Palace, the way they defend and they break, and they've got good goal scorers.
They conceded 12 goals. That's like ridiculous. They've conceded 4 fewer than Manchester City, 3 fewer than Aston Villa. They've only conceded 3 more than Arsenal.
He's some player to win, Gaio. I love him, mate.
Mark Gay.
Yeah. I think he's superb.
Yeah.
I still think he might end up going abroad.
Yeah,
I do.
You sure Chelsea aren't going to buy him back for like 100 million? Or something?
If you remember, our sources there were telling us they didn't need him in the summer. I mean, for me, he would improve your defence no end, particularly.
He used to be in that defence, just so you know.
Hey, what a position to be in, though. A free transfer in the summer with Real Madrid and Barcelona.
And the World Cup coming up as well.
World Cup coming up.
What do you do if you're him, though? Do you sign a pre-contract agreement with one of those European big guns in January, or do you take your chances at a World Cup, have a decent tournament, and then maybe you can get yourself even more of a pay rise?
Well, it depends who comes in. I think if Real Madrid offer him a pre-contract, I think you snap the hand off. I do, yeah.
You never know.
You snap the hand off.
Do you know what? He's a great character as well, Mark Gay. He's just the kind of bloke that you want in your dressing room. Yeah. Good luck to him, whatever is next. Good luck to Crystal Palace as well. Crook and I'll be the next Thursday as they look to try and get through to the last 16 of the Conference League. They're 9th, actually, at the moment. And 2 of the teams that are above them by a point, Mainz and another one, they're playing each other next week, Crook. So if they win, the likelihood is they will sneak in.
Yeah, but he said, isn't he, on record, Oliver Glasner, that the most important thing was to make sure that they qualify for the knockout stages.
Well, they were 18th yesterday.
Yeah, well, if he has to go through the playoffs, he's prepared to do that. And they've got a tricky set of fixtures to navigate, haven't they? Because they've got this League Cup quarter-final.
Great opportunity.
Which is obviously just a couple of days after they play Leeds, is it, in the Premier League?
Yep.
I think he'll put his focus on that. I think he might name a fairly weak team on Thursday.
OK, well, we'll look forward to that. That's live on talkSPORT 2 with you, is it, next Thursday?
Myself and Darren Ambrose, Crystal Palace royalty.
Oh, hey, my lad, him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could score goals and all, Darren. He had a hell of a shot on him, Darren, yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
Underrated, I think.
A good lad and all.
Yeah, top man.
Didn't you used to play with his feet?
He what?
Didn't you used to play with his feet?
I did his toenails a few times, yeah.
I heard that.
It's a corny subject, that.
Is it? Hey, very good. This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. Do you remember 2002? Neil does.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
It's talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface and Alex Crook, and we're delighted to say that Neil Warnock is here just for the next couple of minutes.
Looks like he's already on his way out.
Packing his bag. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Can you move the camera somewhere?
Have you got something to do? Have you?
No, listen, my car, as I was parking my car, it just said battery fault and then battery low, so I'm panicking.
Oh no. It's not. Is it the electric one?
No, it's not even electric,
okay.
no.
All right, that's even worse.
No.
That's a big problem. Okay, let me take you back then. Before we let you go, let me just take you back to the 16th of March 2002. Sheffield United against West Bromwich Albion, which incidentally, by the way, the two teams meet tonight live on talkSPORT 2, which is going to be brilliant. It was the only match in English football history to abandoned due to a shortage of players. 3 Sheffield United players were sent off. 2 got injured, meaning they were down to 6 men. Just take us through what happened.
I don't remember this.
Oh, you must remember this.
Clarky, I mean, Cookie will have to look on his thing quickly.
It's because he's put his laptop away.
Yeah. No, we had 3 sent off, but George Santos, before the game before against West Brom,
I
can't remember who the midfield lad.
Andy Johnson.
Yeah, Andy Johnson. He'd smashed his cheekbone.
He smashed his eye socket, hadn't he?
Eye socket, yeah, George Santos, and it was horrific. And so obviously he's on the bench, and we're doing this, and we get these players sent off. And I said, George, I'm going to have to bring you. Are you all right? Be careful, won't you? Yeah, boss, I'll be careful. I know. And as Sod's Law happened, you couldn't have asked for anything better. There was a tackle, and the ball broke loose. And Johnson and Santos are 10 yards away, and it was like a bull, a matador. They just went, and he just went over the top, Santos. Oh, but
it was GBH, wasn't it?
Oh, my God, it were horrendous. Hey, but worse than that, so I put Suffo on later. Yeah. And I said to Suffo, we can't have anything. Yeah, Gaffer, I'm okay. He went on and headbutted somebody straight away. I've never seen it like it.
It's interesting because the way you tell it is if you were trying desperately to keep things very, very calm.
My God.
But your opposite number that day, Gary Megson, wasn't so sure, was he?
No.
Few players left on, enough to finish the game. They were being told by certain people to go down, come off. Michael Brown wasn't injured.
He had a groin in the first half, Michael, and he should have come off at half-time. But because we were losing 1-0, he wanted to come on, and, obviously I don't want him to aggravate. We had a tough match on Tuesday night as well.
I was absolutely infuriated with the stuff that I was hearing. Everybody's heard it. Everybody knows what was going on that line.
There's been a lot of accusations, which, if at the right time, we will take, because there's a lot of things we've not been happy today.
That result must stand. Otherwise, the next game that we're 2-0 down, I'll put 3 subs on and bring 8 off, and we'll play it again.
I wouldn't imagine Gary will be having a drink with me tonight, no, but not many managers do.
It was 3-0. And in the end, the EFL subsequently ruled that the result should stand and that Sheffield United would later find 10 grand.
We went out and said that the result should stand.
Yeah.
And because there were no reason why it shouldn't stand. So, but
Gary wasn't happy. I mean, was there anything that you were saying on the touchline?
Well, we've never been we've never been the closest of friends. I won't tell you what I normally say about Gary Megson, but when you look at that, he accused Ullathorne of coming off not injured, and he had an operation the next week. So it's amazing what you can do, innit, to confirm that you're injured. We had to give him an operation when there was nothing wrong with him.
Did you do anything to orchestrate the abandonment of
Well, I do everything when I'm on the bench, don't I? But, I mean, listen, we were never, ever close, Gary. I mean, what's that word about if he was on fire? No, I better not say that. So, it's one of those things that quotes, because everybody were jumping on board wagon. But when the FA heard everything, then they came up to the logical answer. There was nothing that the FA could hear about it. But obviously, the West Brom, I can't see it happening again.
I was going to say, I remember it, and I remember the furore at the time. But could you imagine what it would be like now with social media if that Battle of Bramall Lane took place today?
I just can't.
There was a lot of noise, wasn't
there? I can't see players nowadays being as indisciplined as that, if I'm honest.
Did you find those players who came on and did?
God, yeah. Of course we did, but you could only find them 2 weeks' wages. But, the likes have suffered. They never played another game for me, by the way.
No, and they got six-match bans as well.
Santos and Sufo never played another game for me.
What was the mood like in the dressing room afterwards?
Well, there weren't anybody in. There were nobody left. So you couldn't get annoyed. There were nobody left. They'd all gone. No, it was horrific, that. But nothing to be proud of. If I'm honest.
Poor old Eddie Wolstenholme, who was the referee that day, he had to deal with all of that, didn't he? Ended up being a referee's assessor in the end. Did you ever sort of go and apologise to him for putting him through that?
We've all the referees, obviously have had a good time with them, and it's like somebody. The Villa lad, one of my Villa lads who coaches for me, who used to be on my staff, sent me a picture of Chelsea's offside goal at Cardiff.
It wasn't offside, it was fine.
Only about 5 yards offside. And he said, "Oh, look, Ed Smart, he's on the line tonight." I said, "Pop in and give him my
This was towards the end of the season as well, wasn't it? When you could have stayed in the Premier League.
The 3 points. I asked the ref and Craig Pawson as well and Ed Smart if they'd like to come in our dressing room and see the desolation of the lads that day, because to do what we did for 90 minutes and then get let down by somebody not doing the job right was horrific, really. But hey, we changed the subject round now.
Yes. And do you know what, though? This reminds me of my first ever meeting with Neil Warnock. I was a young, work experienced kid. It was a game at the Dell. I think it was in the FA Cup, Southampton against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise, you were complaining about refereeing decisions. And I popped my head up and in the press conference and said, "Neil, will you be speaking to the referee about some of those decisions?" And you came back and you said, "You're just a naive young man."
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
And look what you turned into.
Yeah. A naive older man with a very good laptop. Neil, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed your company. Crookmeister, I'll see you Sunday. In fact, I'll see you.
If they let us in the car park. We've just been told we can't get in the car park at Brent.
I'll see you the whole weekend. We haven't seen each other for 4 days, so we need a little bit of Crook and Sam time. We'll be back next week as well. The good news is that our good friend Ollie Klink is just around the corner. He's got Andy Jacobs with him, which is good. So Andy can show him the ropes 1 till 4. Looking forward to that. That's coming up next.